where hope, healing, and transformation take center stage. MTRC is an ISO-certified freestanding residential and outpatient facility for patients with severe and moderate substance use disorder located in Barangay Comon, Malinao, Albay, just 8 kilometers from Tabaco City Hall. In 1999, Congressman Ed Silagman led the creation of the Malinao Regional Drug Rehabilitation Center, the first in Bicol region, in response to the growing number of drug dependents. The center became operational through a memorandum of agreement between the National Drug Enforcement and Prevention Coordinating Center and the Dangerous Drugs Board, together with the missionary of the Poor Sisters. In 2005, a department order placed the center under the administrative supervision of the Bicol Regional Training and Teaching Hospital, or the BRTTH. Later on, the management of the center was transferred from BRTTH to CHD Bicol by Department Personnel Order number 2007-3373. On June 2, 2008, the deal
Hello bukas, this is Clarice, your host for the Voices of Healing, the MTRC 25th Anniversary Press Conference, live here at the DOH Malinao Treatment and Rehabilitation Center. May I request everyone to please stand as we begin our program with a prayer. And please remain Please settle down. Okay. As part of the 25th year anniversary, this conference hopes to celebrate the 25 fruitful years of our center as a haven of hope, healing, and transformation. Through this gathering, it is our goal to further promote our programs and services, reach a wider audience, and for the community to really get to know MTRC. So at this juncture, may I call on our dynamic and passionate leader, a trailblazer in the public healthcare service, our Chief of Hospital 3, Dr. Fulbert Alec Gallego, for his welcome remarks.
Thank you very much, Clarice. To God be the glory. To our distinguished guests, friends from the broadcast media, MTRC personnel, recovering P-Woods, ladies and gentlemen, isang mapagpala at magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. A blessed morning to everyone. This is a very special day for all of us as we celebrate a significant milestone of our institution, and that is the 25th MTRC founding anniversary. In line with this, we have prepared a week-long activities intended for meaningful, memorable, and fun-filled engagements and activities with our valued clients, the P-Woods and their families, patients, employees and partners and stakeholders, and more importantly, our host community, Barangay Kumon of Malinao. Today marks the day of our week-long activities as we dedicate this opening day for our valued stakeholders, our dear media partners. We need your help in reaching out to the people and bring these messages to the community. Number one, that P-Woods are victims of circumstances and humans who made also wrong choice. Second, the continued drug use leads to addiction, which can cause brain damage and eventually mental illness. Number three, that there is hope to recovery, and that is rehabilitation. Number four, rehabilitation centers are not prisons, but rather a place for healing and recovery. And lastly, that P-Woods are part of the Universal Healthcare Act of 2019, or specifically known as Republic Act 11-223, that they all need to recover, and they are part of the Philippine community. The employees and staff of this institution have continuously and meticulously provided quality services for persons who use drugs, or what we call the P-Woods, throughout these years. MTRC has evolved with better and more holistic services as we continue to provide quality interventions to these people in their journey towards recovery. The approach is multidisciplinary, involving teams of dedicated and committed professionals, involving personnels and backed up with administrative personnel to complement and support these services. And as we continue with our mandate in helping them to provide and to become more productive citizens once more, we need partners to help attain these goals. One of the best partners for us in this aspect are the media practitioners who have better and greater reach in the community. So please, dear friends, help us remove the stigma in rehabilitation. Further, we want to foster and harness an enduring cooperation and collaboration with you as our partners, but also as our friends in the community. Let this coming together be the beginning of our future gatherings to address the needs of PWOODs in helping them integrate them back to the community and our society. Together we strive to become the beacon of hope for these people and become the engine drivers of progress towards a productive, progressive, and drug-free nation. Diyos mabalos, and thank you to one and all.
Thank you so much, Doc, for that very warm welcome message and of course, for setting the tone of this press conference. Kanina narinig natin si Doc as he elaborates the very essence of this event. So ladies and gentlemen, we are glad today to have with us the following guests, our friends from the media. Coming from the DCGBAM, we have Ms. Angel Mostaza, Mr. Jomar Bien. Good morning po. Welcome to MTRC. From the Radio Pilipinas, we have Ma'am Nancy Medjavillo and Mr. Emmanuel Boncudin. Good morning po. From Brigada News, we have Mr. Marvin Cordovilla and Ms. Norris Mingoy. Good morning po. Also joining us this morning are our media friends from One Radio. We have Mr. Erickson Brutas, Ms. Bernadette Banawan. Okay, welcome po sa ating institution, MTRC, Mr. Marlon Atun of the Philippine Information Agency. Good morning, sir. Also joining us this morning are representatives from the DOH Bicol CHD. We have Ms. Danica Caballero. Ma'am, good morning. Mr. Regner Almojuela Jr. Good morning, sir. Mr. Jomar Siciliano. And Ms. Nicole Balhemino. Good morning po. Welcome to MTRC. Of course, we'd like to acknowledge the Deputy Chief of Police of PNP Malinao and his teammates, Captain Denver Romero. Good morning, sir. Thank you for gracing this event. We also have here the members of the Rescue 222, headed by Mr. Hilasio Molato Jr. Good morning po. Also joining us this morning are members of the Narcotics Anonymous. We have here Sir Nino and Alvin. And of course, Barangay Captain Ryan Tuparan. Good morning po. Siyempre, hindi natin kakalimutan ang men and women of MTRC headed by our Chief of Hospital 3, Doc Fulbert. In front are the division chiefs. From the Medical Auxiliary Division, we have Doc Irfa. From the Administrative Division, Mamonet. Good morning po. From the Residential Treatment Division and the Outpatient Aftercare Division, Chief Health Program Officer, Sir John Roque L. Concepcion. Good morning, sir. And all the staff of MTRC, good morning po once again. You know, here sa ating center, recovery is within reach. To introduce the MTRC programs and services, may I call in our Chief Health Program Officer, Sir John Roque L. Concepcion.
Hello po, good morning. Medyo pangu yung sound system namin, malamig kasi yung panahon. Nakisama din po siya. Kinakam ko lang po yung nerves ko kasi ako yung unang magsasalita. Good morning to all and to the friends of the media. Allow me this 15 minutes of presentation to walk you through on what we do here in MTRC in the past 25 years. So muli po, I am Mr. John Roque Concepcion, the Chief Health Program Officer of the Residential Treatment and the Outpatient Division. Ayan, so kunin lang nila yung presentation ko. Alisin lang po muna namin yung Ayan. So welcome to the Voices of Healing. Ayan. So simple title lang, since today is a Voice of Healing, I'd like to walk you through kung ano ginagawa ng MTRC, its different programs and services for persons who use drugs. So let's start. Around 2002, when the Republic Act 9165 or the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002 was enacted, lahat po ng mga treatment and rehabilitation centers sa Pilipinas ay napunta na po sa Department of Health. And the Department of Health specifically categorized ang treatment and rehabilitation centers as a specialized hospital. Ibig sabihin po ng specialized hospital, special po yung pasyente namin. Special in the sense that we cater to persons who use drugs. That is already the correct term that we use nowadays. Hindi na po tinatawag natin silang addict. But the more appropriate term that we use are persons who use drugs. And in our center, we cater to PWODs, both men and women. We are very lucky that not all regions in the Philippines meron pong treatment and rehabilitation center that caters to men and women. Bicol region is very lucky na meron po tayong facility that can cater to them both. So, at present, ito po yung aming Certificate of Accreditation. We are a 150-bed treatment and rehabilitation center for PWODs, 42 of which is for women and the remaining is for men. And later on, magsasabi din si Doc Fulbert ng future plans namin of expanding it more para mas marami pa po ang matulungan. So, it's a specialized hospitals for PWODs. But let's go back. Lahat ba ng gumamit ng droga or persons who use drugs, pupunta ba sa Malinaw Treatment and Rehabilitation Center para magkaroon lang tayo ng foundation? Hindi po lahat. This is actually the flow of wellness na algorithm binabasa atin ng Dangerous Drugs Boards, wherein all persons who use drugs should undergo screening and assessment to determine the nature and severity ng kanilang addiction. So hindi po lahat ng gumamit ng droga ay kailangang ipasok sa isang treatment and rehabilitation center. Base po sa assessment ng drug dependency exam, doon po natin makikita kung saan sila ipapasok na appropriate level of care. And true enough, ang pinakaunang serbisyo po na binibigay namin is the drug dependency examination. Ang drug dependency examination is an examination conducted by a DOH accredited physician to evaluate the extent of abuse. Gaano na nga ba kalala ang paggamit ng isang tao ng droga? So it would determine the severity ng paggamit. And sa result niya, the severity of addiction, makikita natin kung anong appropriate level of care siya ipapasok. Sa residential ba? Sa outpatient ba? Or pwede ba sa community? The drug dependency examination of the center, kami lang po ang pinakamura sa Pilipinas. Only 1,000 pesos po ang bayad niya for that examination. And the good thing is, the MAIFIP applies to this. So ang pinakauna pong gagawin natin, pag meron pong pasyenteng sinuspetsya natin na gumamit ng droga, is to submit them for screening and drug dependency exam, which our center offers. Now, ano na ngayon ang gagawin? Susunod, after the drug dependency exam, kung ang result po noon kung mild muna, kasi moderate, severe, may tatlong result lang po yon, mild, moderate, and severe. Pag mild po yung pasyente, diretso po yun sa community-based drug rehabilitation program. And the CBDRP is managed by our local government unit. However, pag moderate and severe po yung pasyente, pag moderate, ipapasok siya sa outpatient program at pag severe naman sa residential program. Yun po yung dalawang major programs ng center. The outpatient and the residential treatment program. And after finishing these two primary programs, papasok na po sila sa third program ng MTRC, which is the aftercare and follow-up program. Later on po, during my discussion, iisa-isayin natin ano yung program components nitong three major programs of the center. Ayan, let's start with a residential program. Residential. So talagang titira sila dito. It is a live-in facility with 24-hour supervision intended for people na malala na po talagang paggamit. Meaning to say, ito na yung mga taong wala ng control sa paggamit ng droga na kailangan na talaga nilang alisin sa community, ilagay into a facility for monitoring and supervision. And the program duration of the residential program is a minimum of 10 months. So baka isipin, sir, bakit 10 months? Why is it too long? Bakit kaya matagal yung programa for drug dependent na severe? Let's take a look. What's the science behind it? So first, let's look. Ito po ay isang PET scan. Scientists and even doctors conducted a study doon sa mga gumagamit ng droga. Tiningnan nila anong nangyayari sa utak ng isang tao pag sila'y gumagamit. Just a brief comparison. In the right side, yan po ay isang healthy brain. And on the left side, yan naman po ay isang brain ng isang gumagamit. Just notice the difference in color and in size. Meron pong there are functional changes that happens in the brain, and there are structural changes that happens in the brain when someone uses drugs. Yun po ang nangyayari. Kaya sinasabi natin that addiction is a brain disease because structurally and functionally, naiiba yung utak pag gumagamit ng droga. Now, ano naman ang kinagandahan pag pinasok sa rehab ang isang tao? Over prolonged abstinence, the brain recovers. Kung makikita lang yung text dito sa baba, it took them more than 14 months before nga bumalik ang isang utak sa normal. So meaning to say, treatment for drug addiction is really a long term. Kaya po mahaba yung programa ng residential program, minimum of 10 months. The brain recovers with prolonged abstinence. So yan po yung science behind why our program is 10 months. Now, let's also look, ano ba ang typical itsura o nangyayari sa isang drug dependent? By definition, a drug dependent is someone who has compulsive, uncontrollable use of drugs kahit na ang daming harmful consequences. And kung ano ang cause nun, this is just an example of the biopsychosocial model or theory kung bakit nagkakaroon ng addiction. Biologically, psychologically, and socially, ang daming contributing factors that causes them to become drug dependents. And P. Woods exhibits behavioral, cognitive, psychological, and social moral characteristics that are inadequate to support a well-adjusted, functional, and sober lifestyle. Meaning to say, ang dami niya pong sintomas. Marami po siyang pinapakitang maling pag-uugali, physically may sakit, psychologically maling pag-iisip, na lahat po yun ay kailangan natin i-address sa treatment and rehabilitation. Yun lamang po ang gusto kong sabihin. It's a complex problem. Now, ano yung tamang model daw? The international standard says that for drug addiction treatment to work, you should address the multiple needs of individual. Hindi lang po yung paggamit. Meaning to say, biologically, kailangan natin siya i-cure kung may masakit siyang mentally or physically. Psychologically, kailangan din natin itama ang kanyang pag-uugali. Socially, kailangan din natin ayusin ang kanyang mga relationship. So you address multiple needs. Ano yon? Medical needs, psychological needs, the social needs, vocational needs, and even legal needs ng tao. Kaya ako po ito sinabi is just to say that MTRC follows these international standards. Our program, the residential program, the outpatient and aftercare program, comprises of gamut of services that addresses all the patient's needs. From medical, psychiatric, social welfare services, psychological needs, education and livelihood services, CBT, family counseling, nutrition and dietetics, spiritual, the therapeutic community, and even dental services. Pasadahan natin yan mamaya through pictures. So, our residential program comprises of all these gamut of services para ma-make sure natin that we address all the needs of a drug dependent. Hindi lang yung paggamit niya. Ayan. Our main goal of treatment is to stop substance use, improve the health and well-being, and prevent future harm or relapse. Yan. First and foremost, psychiatric management or psychiatric consultations. There's a global estimate that more than half of patient daw ng PWODs ay may kaakibat, may kasama pong mental illness. That is why we are very lucky enough. The center is only one sa few treatment and rehabilitation sa Pilipinas na merong psychiatrist on board. So dito pa lang, nakakatch na namin with Doc Irfa around ano yung mga mental illness na kasama nung isang PWODs. So holistic po ang care niya. Similarly, we have 3 doctors with us that addresses the medical needs of the patient. We would know that in the prolonged years of using ng isang drug dependent, nagkaroon na yan ng sakit. At dito, kadalasan, nakakatch na namin siya at nagsimula ng gamutan. Ayan. Maliban doon, we provide dental service and nursing service. Also, what Doc Fulbert has mentioned a while ago, we have a team approach for case management. Meaning to say, hindi lang po si social worker ang bahala sa pasyente. A team of multidisciplinary professionals is handling the patient in order to cater all the needs of the patients. Meaning to say, I'm proud to say na individualized ang treatment, yet it's very holistic dahil sa pagsasama-sama nitong multidisciplinary professionals. Also, we provide an evidence-based approach to treatment, what we call as cognitive behavioral therapy. Our staff are trained for CBT sessions, and ang goal ng CBT sessions ma-manage ng isang drug dependent ang kanyang thoughts, feelings, and actions, teaching them coping skills, and correcting all the thinking errors and faulty beliefs that they have got throughout the years of using. Yan po ang purpose ng CBT. Also, one of our tenet na philosophy is, recovery without God is nothing. That is why MTRC also provides spiritual activities that foster spirituality as one of the foundation in recovery. Ano man po ang religion mo, andito ka, we will be giving you kung ano man ang pinapaniwalaan mo, basta a belief in a higher power. Also, we believe that addiction is a family disease. Kasi hindi lamang po yung taong PWODs ang apektuhan, kundi lahat ng membro ng pamilya. And while inside, our goal is to reconnect with family as a cure for addiction. Also, ayan po, ang aming nutrition and dietetic service, kumakain po ang pasyente namin dito ng 5 meals a day. Breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, at saka dinner. Hindi po talaga sila nagugutom. At ang nutrition dietitian po namin conducts nutritional counseling. Ano ba ang tamang BMI niya? Ano bang tamang kainin? Kasi we would say na pagpasok nila dito, ang iba dyan high blood na. So part po yun ng nutrition management, kina-counsel po ng aming nutrition dietitian kung yung mga tamang kainin ng isang tao para maging healthy. Ayan, nutritional counseling. Also, kung makikita nyo po dito sa right side, yan po yung mga produktong nagawa ng aming mga residente or pasyente. Throughout the years, ang dami na po naming products na nagawa, and we've provided various livelihood, vocational activities for them. Naniniwala kasi kami that equipping them with skills for work when going outside, mas mapapatibay pa ang kanilang recovery. Para yung iba naman po na, di ba, pinasok sila dito, ang tanging hanap buhay lang ay magtulak ng droga, bibigyan namin sila ng alternative skill that they could use outside in order to foster an abstinent life. So yan po, throughout the years, nagkaroon ka ng different livelihood activities like massage, soap making, food processing, gardening. At yan po, to our media partners and visitors, these are all for sale. And part, I think, 70% of the proceeds goes directly sa pasyente. And only 30% of which bumabalik po sa center. So may kita po dyan ang mga pasyente para pag uwi nila, may dala po silang pera. Yan po. Maliban po sa vocational and livelihood activities, we also provide educational needs. Recent lang po ito, just last Friday, nag-attend ang aming vocational staff ng ALS graduation sa Astrodome. And for several years, I'm proud to say na 100% ang aming ALS passing rate. And even last year, nagkaroon pa kami ng top student, right, in 2023. Siya yung nag-top sa lahat ng nag-take ng ALS. Ganun po sila katatalino na andito sa loob. Now, that is for the residential program for those with severe. Let's go to ano naman yung programa namin for those na may moderate substance use disorder. This is what we call as the outpatient program with a program duration of 7 months. Ano ang outpatient program? It is a treatment for moderate substance use disorder na hindi kailangan ng residential treatment. Meaning to say, the patient can go home and attend to the rehab program weekly. Ang condition lang po namin, we provide specific number of sessions per week that they need to attend and complete. So yun po, that's the outpatient program. And our goal is to establish psychosocial support, relapse management, and coping strategies as well. So ano yung mga activities na andun? The outpatient program, like the residential program, also comprises of gamot of services. Ang main program na ginagamit po namin is the Matrix Intensive Outpatient Program at ang Entry Post Program introduced by JICA and the Department of Health. These are both evidence-based, proven to have helped drug dependents recover from addiction. Heavy po ang outpatient program sa CBT. Kagaya ko nang nasabi po kanina, the CBT's main goal is to establish or re-establish social support, develop coping strategies, address problems related to their social and psychological well-being while recovering, and learn stage of relapse management, or simply put, ano ba ang drugs, paano to gamitin, at paano i-handle ang cravings outside. Yun po yung laman ng mga CBT sessions. To make our programs accessible, nagkakaroon din po kami ng online sessions. Meron po kasi kami mga pasyente as far as Masbate and Catanduanes who economically hindi po talaga pwedeng pumunta dito on a weekly basis. So what we do po sa kanila, we do an online session para lamang po na-cater sila. Yan. These are just some of the activities that we do in the outpatient program that includes individual counseling, home visitation. Lalo na po pag medyo hindi na nag-a-attend ng programa, pupuntahan po namin sila sa kanilang bahay just to assess, ano bang nangyayari? What's happening? Why are you not attending your program? Life skills seminar and sessions at satellite office. Speaking of satellite office, ang center po ay mayroong 3 satellite office at present. One in Sorsogon City, the other one is in Daraga, and the third one is in Ligao City. We plan to expand these satellite offices to make our service more accessible to our PWODs. Alam naman po natin na medyo malayo ito, kaya gusto namin na mas mapalapit pa po ang serbisyo natin sa kanila. Ayan. Ito lamang po ay ang ibang mga graduates, some of the pictures of the graduates of the MTRC. Ayan. And that is for the outpatient program, the second program ng center. The third program po is the aftercare and follow-up program. And this program is taken after finishing yung primary program. Mandatory po ito sa batas and even sa DDB regulation na kailangan merong follow-up or continuation ng primary program pag nakauwi na sila ng residential or natapos na sila ng outpatient program. So, in summary, the aftercare program is a continuation of the rehabilitation process in the community after the discharge of the primary program. For the outpatient program, meron pong 9 months na aftercare and follow-up. While for the residential, matagal po ang aftercare, a total of 18 months as specified ng ating batas. Ayan. And like the 2 similar program, the ACP comprises of gamot of services that would help them sustain what they have learned inside the facility. Yan. And our main goal while they're outside is for them to maintain sobriety and manage mga relapses po nila or mga challenges they experience while on recovery. Yan. These are just some of the pictures of the services that we provide. We provide home visitation and surveillance testing. Part po yun ng programa na dapat itest sila while on aftercare. Sessions at the satellite offices. We also give seminars even to the parents. And, of course, our friends from the support group here, nag-a-attend po or we endorse them. We encourage our patients for them to attend a support group meetings ng Narcotics Anonymous. Yan. So ito lang po yung ibang pictures natin of the recent graduations that we had in the past 2 semesters. Yan. Marami pa po sila. And for our media friends, kung makita nyo po yung tree natin doon sa side, those are the pictures ng mga nakagraduate dito sa residential program. It's called our Tree of Hope. At sila ang bunga ng tree na yan, the recovery. Yan. Now, in support to the DOH 8-point agenda under Maginhawang Isip at Damdamin, meron pa po kaming serbisyo maliban dito sa 3 programs that we offer. Number 1 of which is, we conduct also drug use prevention advocacy seminars. Yan. We believe that drug education is a preventive and a cure to addiction. Paano? Tinutulungan nito yung mga bata making informed choice of drug use. Tinutulungan nito nung mga pamilya na andun sa community to identify symptoms of drug use at kung anong gagawing referral treatment sa kanila. And we help the community raise awareness that drug addiction is a brain disease and it is treatable. So yun yung parang primary goal namin while we do drug abuse prevention activities. And I am proud to say that our advocacy staff are trained with evidence-based strategies for drug prevention by the ISOP and also ng DDB. Trained po sila. So ang shameless plug ko po sa lahat na mayroong opisinang andito, kung kailangan nyo po ng drug use prevention seminars, just message us. We can go to your offices and conduct a drug use prevention advocacy seminar. Just letter lang po ang katapat. Wala naman po yun na bayad. It's part of our mandate in service to provide drug use prevention to the youth, to the offices, and to the community. Yan. These are just some pictures of the drug use prevention activities that we have done all throughout the years. Sa opisina, sa community, and even sa schools at elementary children. Ayan. Next, major service po namin ay ang drug testing. I'm proud to say na kami po ay isang DOH accredited screening drug testing laboratory. Ayan po yung license namin dyan. Ayan. Ayan po si Fred. At ang pwede po naming matest ay we could test by specimen, the urine specimen for marijuana and for shabu. Ayan. Ang shameless plug ko po sa lahat. Ang drug testing po namin ay only 250 pesos. Kung pupunta po kayo sa mga private drug testing, siguro na experience natin, ang pinakamura ay 300. Sa amin po, 250 pesos lang. And we conduct remote collection for drug workplace policy. Nagkaroon na po kami ng several agencies na clients na pinupuntahan to conduct the drug testing sa kanilang employee. At ang maganda po hindi lang po yung drug test ang kinukonduct namin. We provide drug prevention education to that agency as part of the whole package. Yan. I think this is conducted sa one agency sa Ligao or one school sa Ligao na lately naging partner po namin. So yan. So maliban po sa drug use prevention advocacy activities, we also conduct drug testing. Also, we provide technical assistance. Sino? For those implementing drug rehabilitation programs. I'm also proud to say that we have MTRC employees is part of the regional training team ng Center for Health Development Bicol. Ang mga trainers po na kinoconduct ng CHD5 with regards to implementation of drug rehabilitation programs are staff of MTRC. Trained po kami for this birth at sa DOH accredited physicians, may doktor at staff po kami na trained. May trained po kami na pwedeng magbigay po ng CBDRP or yung KKDK, di ko na to, Katatagan, Kalusugan at Damayan Komunidad at Ginhawa. Andiyan po si Marwin, trained po siya ng national to implement the CBDRP programs ng mga local government unit. Trained din po kami for motivational interviewing, and we have certified mental health professionals on board. So if kailangan nyo po ng mental health awareness as well, implementation of CBDRP, at saka training for the physicians and the rehabilitation workers, we have a pool of speakers here with us. So ayan. Over the years, we have trained municipal health officers, social workers, mental health practitioners, the CADAC and the MADAC, the drug rehab workers, and the allied professionals in managing PWOODs. Ayan po. So, simply put, in the Voices of Healing, we've been breaking addiction and transforming lives for 25 years and beyond. Yan lamang po ang buod ng aking presentation. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you so much, Sir John, for that very comprehensive discussion. Through these programs and services here at MTRC, we ensure that individuals receive the best path as they navigate their way towards recovery. Before we proceed, everyone, I'd like to acknowledge this morning the presence of our guest from the Radyo Veritas. We have here Ma'am Susan Balane and Sir Jam Mendoza. Good morning po. Welcome to MTRC. To continue, in just a year into being our COH3, a lot has already been accomplished under his wing. Every initiative brought us closer to realizing our shared vision, not just for the center, but the people we serve. To give us the present initiatives and future plans, I'd like to call in once again our Chief of Hospital 3, Dr. Fulbert. A round of applause, please.
Again, a pleasant good morning to everybody. Thank you very much, John, for a very comprehensive discussion on the different programs and activities that are being provided for in the community and our target clients. And we'd just like to emphasize that these products here at my right side are really very important for the part of the recovery of our clients. This will help them at least provide sustenance when they go back and be with their families. So, my presentation, konti lang po to. I'd just like to emphasize with you that this is my first year in MTRC. To those media friends whom I've been working with in the community in Legazpi City, you know that I've been working with public health. Mental health program is just one part of the public health services, but mind you, it's one of the most difficult one to have to consider. For a while waiting for the PowerPoint, because we want to emphasize to you where we are right now and what are our plans in the coming years for MTRC. As you can see, the lengthy discussion of John, hindi naman po sa pagyayabang, ang MTRC po ay, it has everything already when it comes to addressing the recovery needs of our clients, the PWOODs. In my 1-year stay here, sabi ko sa sarili ko, ano pa ba ang kulang ng MTRC? Halos lahat ando doon na. So, let me walk you through kung ano ang mga currently programs na ginagawa natin, and eventually, ano pa ang gagawin natin in the future so that MTRC will continue its growth and development to greater heights. For this week, we have put in a lot of programs that are intended to target the different stakeholders in the community. Like for today, we are dealing with the media personalities, kayo po yun. And then in the coming days, iba't iba pong stakeholders that we will be working with them so that to celebrate the MTRC anniversary, 25th anniversary. Okay, for today, what are the MTRC plans for today and tomorrow? I'd like to share this to you. Next slide, please. Now, kanina, John was already able to make mention to you. Very important thing for an institution na babalik-balikan siya is to have that quality assurance that the services that are being provided for are with quality. And as I assure you, of course, our institution is located within the Barangay Kumon, Malinaw, Albay, and it was established in 1999 and become operational in the year 2000. So next slide, please. Now, when it comes to approved bed capacity, John was able to make mention from 125 we have already applied and was approved to 150, and there is a plan again to continue improving and expanding our beds, and it currently it admits the male and female client. Next slide, please. So John was able to make mention that currently the male dormitory we have 106 beds available. Next slide, please. And these are the rooms. And this is the female dormitory with currently 44 beds available for our clients. But definitely this will be expanded very soon. Next slide, please. Now, as regards to the quality assurance, we are very proud to say that MTRC was already certified by ISO in the year 2015, meaning to say when it comes to the processes, the protocols, MTRC was able to maintain it throughout these years. And MTRC was also awarded as a Prime HR Bronze Awardee. So in terms of the availability of services and the staffing, next slide please. And also was awarded by ARTA under the Report Card Survey in 2019, an Excellence Award. Next slide please. So what are the current initiatives that I, together with my co-staff in MTRC, have been doing for the past year? Next slide, please. So this is a current project that was the state-of-the-art training center, and ito po was last year and continued this year. Ito po ay isang training center. It's an auditorium. The funding came from the Department of Health. The purpose of which nito is, next slide please. Well, it will serve as a training and education for center for students who are having their related learning experiences like the nurses and internship of other fields of endeavor like the psychology, social worker, and soon we will also be opening it for other professionals. For the purpose of, they will be able to know that these services are existing, and MTRC is a place wherein not only they can apply later on, but also where patients can be referred. So sila po ay magiging parang walking advertisements in the near future. And then it will serve also as in-house training and seminar for employees. John also made mention that the employees are well trained on the aspect of rehabilitation. Well, we want to continuously capacitate our personnel in terms of their learnings and capacity. So we conduct a lot of in-house training for them to improve further of their learnings and skills. And then this is also, will be, in the coming years, will be a training and meeting place for the stakeholders from the community. Next slide, please. So maganda po yan na project na yan. And continuing the current initiatives, well, nasabi nga kanina ni John that I, for one, also believe in this, that pinaka-importante in everything that we do, we always have to put God at the center. So when I came here in the MTRC, I thought of uh, submitting a proposal for a place where we can always be reminded of that God should be there in whatever we do. And not only that, we also put in place the Mass every first Friday. And subsequently, meron na po kaming confessions and retreat for our clientele. So the name of the project is MTRC Chapel, and with an approved budget of 6.5 million. And alam nyo po, last year I was very happy and that this project was already announced as part of the approved projects for the Department of Health under HFEP. Next slide, please. So ito po yung perspective. And then another one is, if you were able to see or notice our administration building, first floor pa lang po siya. So we want to improve our existing facilities. Why? For better services and expansion of the different programs, and this will house different offices, additional. So this is a phase 2 of the administrative building, and its budget is 23.5 million. And we're just waiting for the two projects for the funds to be downloaded. Everything was already submitted and everything is already prepared. Next slide, please. Continue. So we have right now, we are able to prioritize programs and projects as we endeavor for the expansion of the institution. Pagdating po, kung mapapakinggan nyo, kung napakinggan nyo yung kanina, yung explain ni John, he was able to showcase to you the rehabilitation aspect of the hospital. And doon po sa aspect na yun, I would say that it's already a 1. But however, doon po sa, if you can see look into closer the Malinao Treatment and Rehabilitation Center, ang rehabilitation program is A1, but in terms of treatment, doon kami kulang. So in that aspect, we want to improve and add more services, more infrastructures that will house these programs, and other things that we have to improve on. So another one is the streamlining of protocols of institutional admission of the PWODs. For the past months, we have been conducting visits and courtesy call with the different stakeholders, to name a few: the courts, the LGU, and even the jail. We were able to identify there are some merong hurdles that a clientele will be having when they come inside. So one of that is the difficult process of admission. Difficult in the sense that for them it's difficult, but for the centers, those are very important things. Like for instance, a certification from a psychiatrist that the patient is having mental illness, at the same time a drug use, and then pwedeng dalhin dito at gamutin, or that client needs a hospital institution which caters specifically for psychiatric illnesses. So we are very happy to inform all of you, my dear friends, that we have now a psychiatrist on board. That is Dr. Irfa, and for the longest period of time, we have difficulty in looking for a psychiatrist. And now, mas mapapadali po yun kasi hindi na kailangan maghanap pa ng psychiatrist. Napakahirap po because kukunti lang po sila and their time are very precious. And of course, the consultation fee is really medyo mahirap para sa ating mga kababayan. And then another one is na-mention ni John, yung drug dependency examination. Very important yun because this will spell of where and what program will a PWOD go into. So dito po na natitignan kung ano ba ito, mild category or moderate or severe. So dito we are also very fortunate because when I came in, isa na lang po ang doctor and papaalis pa siya, and we're very fortunate may nahikayat tayo ng mga bagong doctors and they were trained already for DDE. And I myself is also a DDE accredited physician, and napadali po namin yon in the past months of schedule because hindi kakayanin. But now we have streamlined those. And also yung isa pa sa mga hurdles na nakikita is yung mga services, laboratory requirements, x-ray, sputum exam. Siyempre, kailangan po ito so that our staff will also be assured that the clientels that we admit here are okay in terms of their health. So, importante po yun. And yun po ang mga programs na idadagdag pa namin. And then, we want to increase in bed capacity. Why? Because we all know for a fact that Bicol region is composed of 6 provinces. We have Cam Norte and Cam Sur is well taken care of by Cam Sur TRC. And then also, pagdating naman sa Albay and Sorsogon, ang Malinaw naman ang nandito. However, we also have to be reminded that there are 2 island provinces, Masbate and Catanduanes. And MTRC wants to endeavor in making sure that these provinces are also provided with the services. And this will also spell the difference of how we will do it in terms of our partnerships with our stakeholders. And of course, from the Department of Health, we are all being reminded that hospitals should be able to put up all the programs that are provided for by the PhilHealth. Because PhilHealth is our national health institution that helps the DOH address the needs in terms of financial needs for the patient. So, ito yung mga programs po na dadagdag namin, yung TB Dots. Bakit TB Dots? Kasi po ang TB is still in the top 10. So ngayon po napababa na yun. Dati it's one of the top 5 leading morbidity and mortality. Ngayon po it was presented recently na nasa top 7 na lang siya. But still, it's very important that we have to address this. Why? Because TB is highly infectious. And then we have to also have the dental care package and detoxification of those who are admitted, and then drug testing, kanina thoroughly mentioned by John. Of course, in the region, we have a lot of drug testing clinics and laboratories. But the confirmatory drug testing is still not existing in the Bicol region, and we want to endeavor on that so that the confirmatory tests for positive for drug testing will be done here, and we will be able to provide those services in the community. And we also have the mental health package for the longest time. Again, we have the presence of our psychiatrist. We'll now be able to file this in PhilHealth and reimburse it. So why do we want to endeavor on these PhilHealth packages and programs? For the reason that we want to increase also our hospital income. In the long run, this will help us address the needs of our institution in terms of financial needs. So makakatulong po ito in terms of self-sustainability of our institution. And of course, expansion of partnerships with the academe for clinical exposure through memorandum of agreement. Now, another very important partner in the community is the academe. So ito pong mga institution na nagpo-provide ng studies for nurses, doctors, psychiatry, psychology, social work, medtech, radtech. So they will be welcome here in the rehab center for the purposes of helping them train the next generation of professionals. And also we want to capacitate this youth in terms of their knowledge on saan ba sila pwedeng makakuha ng services ang community. And that is MTRC. Next slide, please. So another one is to strengthen collaboration with BJMP, courts, judges. Well, why do we need to strengthen this? Because ang pag-rehabilitate sa mga clients, hindi lang po yan kinakailangan nag-iisang institution. It's kailangan po natin ng maraming kakampi at kasamahan para po matulungan natin itong mga kababayan natin. And these were very important stakeholders that we have to continuously and strive partnership with them. And number 7 is to establish rapport with local chief executives, congressman, and party list. So why these political figures? Why? Because they're very important stakeholders in the community. Sila po yung they're empowered through the devolution, and they are in charge of the health aspect in the community. So kinakailangan po namin mag-partner sa kanila para matulungan po yung program. Like na-mention ni John, yung say Legazpi City, Daraga, and Tabaco, ma-provide ng rooms where our staff can do their consultation and meetings with the clients in the community. At least po mababawasan na yung gastos ng clients at mas malapit po sa kanila because it's in their community. And also for convenience din po ng aming mga clientele. And also, we need to be resourceful. Sa anumang bagay po na pangangailangan natin, hindi palaging dapat ibibigay lang sa atin, idodole out or ihuhulog sa atin ang kailangan natin. We have to be innovative and creative in the things that we need and we want to aspire for in the near future. So we need to extend our reach, especially the local chief executives and the party list. Meron po silang mga budget. Kanina na-mention ni John yung MAIFIP. And these are being used to provide food for the clients in our institution. And also, yung mga infrastructure projects and development of the institution, wala po kami nung panggastos. So we want to partner not only from the Department of Health, but other funding institutions like the DDB, PCSO, and more importantly, yung ating po mga congressman and also the party lists. And of course, we need to submit project proposals. So pinag-iisipan at tinitignan yung mga current infrastructures wherein we can even improve. When we say improvement, pwede mong dagdagan vertically or pwede kami mag-expand horizontally for the other programs and projects that we want to include in our services. And also, very important po to is the partnership sa inyo po. If you can take note, I've together with our legal, our attorney, we went already to your stations and thank you very much for accepting us. In the past with LGU, malaking bagay talaga po ang ating mga partners sa media. And here in MTRC, I want also that to strengthen that. And this time we want to please help us also in promoting MTRC as part of the government services na available para dito sa special group of people, and that is the PWOODs. Kasi kung hindi po nila malalaman na may serbisyo ang gobyerno, then they will not be able to access those vital and important services. Next slide, please. So ano po yung future plans namin? A few of the slides na lang. So accreditation of the programs with PhilHealth, specifically with reimbursement package. Kasama po yan sa pagpaplano namin, and we have to be reminded of this. In the near future, aside from those that I have made mention, we want also to have animal bite treatment center because in the vicinity, within the vicinity, wala pong government institution pa na may ABTC, so we want to have that. And also dito po sa loob ng institution, may mga cases din po ng mga cat bites and scratches. And then yung drug confirmatory testing laboratories, in I think 2 or 3 DATRCs already in the country, meron na po silang drug confirmatory testing, and maganda po ito. Not only that it will make our work easier kasi kung if and when may nagpa-positive, pwede namin i-confirm dito na sa center. But also we want to provide services sa ating mga stakeholders in the community kasi saan pa pupunta yung kanilang mga samples for confirmation? Sa Manila pa po, and it takes time and delay the process of healing of the patient. So hopefully magawa natin yan. And then we also want to endeavor on the primary care facility. So ito po ang directive ng ating national government is hindi lang dapat hospital, but also we want also to provide services in the nearby communities. And pag sinabi po natin na primary care facility, hindi lang po siya hospital, may other services po siya nakasama doon. And one of these is the outpatient care benefit package or the e-consulta. For our friends from the media here, Last year, it was Legazpi City and Legazpi City Hospital were the first two institutions that were able to have our outpatient care benefit package accreditation. Of course, mas nauna ang Masbate, I think, and then Catanduanes because they were given assistance and sila yung pilot project. But in the province of Albay, it was City Health Office in Legazpi City. So ano yun? Kami po na mga health workers, part of also ensuring and taking care of our employees is to have medical health benefits. So annually, tinetest din po kami kung nahawa na ba kami ng TB or may mga sakit din kami na kinakailangan mapangalagaan. So how can we give health services kung kami mismo ay wala nun? So dito po sa primary care package, kami po ay enroll din and pinaka-importante po yung aming clients. Yung clients namin na tinitignan, hindi na po kinakailangan dalhin pa sa labas or sa partner hospitals and clinics kasi it's very cumbersome on the part of the employees but also sa ating mga kliyente po na nasa loob. Dinadala po namin ngayon para pang magpa-x-ray, kung may mga injuries or whatever or idinadala pa po sa partner hospital ng aming agency. And then we want also to, etong e-consulta package, as mandated by the Department of Health, we can also provide services with our nearby community. And what is that? Pwede namin silang gamutin, provide ng laboratory and medicines that are included in the PhilHealth package. And anong purpose nun? Is to extend the reach of our services sa ating mga kababayan. But not only that, it will also mean reimbursement to some amount that will be included in our budget sa hospital income. So, malaking bagay po ito para makatulong din sa amin while we are helping, it is also helping us. And then the expansion and additional infrastructure, of course, if you want to think big, you have to put in new infrastructure to provide for the services and yung mga existing structures, kailangan pa yun i-improve, dagdagan ng second floor. And then number 3, increase in client and patient services. Ito po yung sinasabi ko sa mga kasamaan ko dito sa MTRC. Kinakailangan po ang facility natin nagpa-function. When we say nagpa-function, dapat tuloy-tuloy po yun. Mahalaga po na ang mga kliyente na aabot namin hanggang doon sa kaduduluduluhan. Because if we will not do that, ang mangyayari po, baka pagdating ng araw, 1 or 2 na lang ang pasyente namin dito at hindi na kailangan ng doktor, ng nurses, or ng mga professional. So, we want to maintain that. When we say increase in bed capacity, pag nag-increase po yung aming mga clientele, hindi po ibig sabihin maganda yon sa public health kasi dumadami ang patients who use drugs. But the actual is marami pa rin gumagamit ng droga at yung facility should be there to accommodate them and be able to provide those needed services. And then institute programs for food security. Ano ibig sabihin nito? In the past po, palagi bili. Now, if we can do that, just like what we do in the community, merong gardening sa barangay, sa school, now we can also do that in MTRC. So, pwede rin kami mag-develop ng backyard gardening later on with a space, livestock raising, and programs on food processing, katulad niya ng mga products ng aming mga PWoods. Why do we want to have this? Why do we want to teach our clients? Because dapat turuan natin sila paano maging self-sufficient and magkaroon sila ng, maging happy din ulit sila na meron pa rin halaga beyond drug addiction. And kung wala silang mapupuntahan na mapagtatrabahuan, then they will be able to start it within their home. And hindi kinakailangan lahat ng bagay ay bibilihin natin. Pwede naman natin itanim sa ating mga bakuran. Next slide, please. And of course, when we think of big and we want to expand, definitely we want to also expand on our current land area. Currently, it's about 1.5 hectares, kung tama na sabi ko, engineer. Tama ba? 1.5 ang MTRC. Yes, and sa mga katabi po namin na areas, meron pong mga available na pwedeng bilihin. So we want to endeavor to buy this so that we can be able to expand for our services. And how are we going to do this through acquisition of adjacent lots, whether it's be a government or private. And also, we will be needing the political support. Siyempre, importante po yun. Magkakato kami sa mga local chief executive as our partners in the community. And number 6, we need to submit proposals for improved road network in going to and from the facility. Kung makikita nyo po from the highway, napakaganda na ng highway, pero po papunta sa loob ng MTRC, mapapansin nyo po na medyo makipot yung tinampo. And this is very important because this is a hospital and dapat yung tinampo is maluwag so that when the ambulances come in and out, hindi po mahihirapan lumabas. And very dangerous po kasi yung ibang side, yung gutter medyo malalim. And then construction of green building infrastructure. Of course, I'm working closely with the GSS. Very important po sa mga projects nila ngayon, nilalagay na po ang solar panels and then hopefully po doon po sa mga projects na gagawin namin, sa mga na-save namin sa projects, makakapag-start na rin po kami ng filtering machine. Pwede kaming mag-acquire noon para po yung tubig namin, hindi namin bibilihin just to ensure that what our clientele and the staff are drinking are safe water. So aside from that, we are also want to endeavor the rainwater collection system. So yung ulan, ano yan, ang Bicol region, sige lang ulan, sige lang ulan. So why not collect them and harvest them? And later on, kahit po sa pandilig na lang ng mga halaman or panglinis ng ating mga paligid sa MTRC, hindi na po namin kailangan bibilihin yan at gagastusin, babayaran sa provider. And then, improvement of existing facilities, how do we do it? By proposing like second floor. If you can see, some of our buildings yet are still first floor. In other .RCs, third floor hanggang fourth floor na yan. So sa amin po, we want to improve on that. And also, improve the existing facilities. Like yung kitchen namin, we want to expand. And then yung gym para po sa physical intervention din sa ating mga clientele. So dapat available po yon para holistic po yung approach. And develop alternative water sources. Dapat po sa ngayon, nag-iisip tayo, even sa bahay natin. So, we want also to add more deep well and then to acquire filtering machine so that we will provide our own drinking water and of course, the installation of the rainwater collection system. So, to some, this might sound very bold, but to us, kung gusto, may paraan, kung ayaw, maraming dahilan. So, for us as a government institution, hindi kailangan palagi, ay wala kami yan, ay konti lang ito, konti lang. No, we have to always think out of the box, be innovative and creative of what we have. And then from this, we will be able to expand and attain our goals. Next slide, please. So, next slide, please. So, ito po yung mga ginagawa, just to show you some pictures. Ito po, partnering with NGOs from Daughters of Sacred Heart. Next slide, please. Ito po yung capacity building of our human resources. Kinakailangan po ang mga nurses and doctors and other health professionals should be trained with BLS, basic life support training. Pag may mga calamity, may mga hindi natin hiningi, the staff will be adept on this. Next slide, please. And then ito po, nag-training ang ating mga staff. Next slide, please. And also, napakahalaga. If you will note sa mga kaibigan natin dito sa media, ang Legazpi City is very much well prepared on the CDRM programs nila, especially yung mga fire drill and earthquake drill. Dito din po sa amin, dapat kami rin. Kasi kami rin po we will be impacted if there are of this sort. So, kinakailangan po tayo palaging prepared. Next slide, please. So, these are some of the pictures that we have done together and with our stakeholders. Next slide, please. So, ito po, just a few examples of our plan for the expansion. So, ito po ay ginagawa na yung aming medtech, pa-training na po. What is DSSM? That's direct smear sputum microscopy. Ito po ay one of the requirements for TB diagnosis. Sa adult po, kailangan ng sputum exam and then chest x-ray. So yun po ang kailangan pa namin i-acquire yung chest x-ray. Pag sa mga bata, skin testing and then chest x-ray. So this will facilitate our application for TB dots. Next slide, please. And of course, yung aming mga doctors, nurses, and other staff of the institution nagpunta po sa benchmarking. Benchmarking is a way of learning uh, outside our institution. And what is that? We go to the different areas. Also, yung mga existing examples sa Dulag TRC. So nagpunta po doon ang mga staff, not only the doctors and nurses, but also the personnel on how to do detoxification. And gagawin din po namin yan malapit na. Next slide, please. And then some of the documentation, our doctors, nurses, IT, and staff, and program managers. Next slide, please. So another one example is also nag-training din po, no, not training, it's benchmarking in Camarines Sur Treatment Rehab Center. So yan po yung aming kapitbahay na rehab center. So nagpunta din po doon ang aming staff para po matignan din yung processing nila ng e-consulta, ng PhilHealth packages nila, and we learn from them as well. Katulad po ng ibang mga TRCs, pumupunta rin po dito sa Malinaw para rin po mag-treat and i-share namin yung good practices. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So, these are conducting consultative conference with stakeholders. Napakahalaga. Next slide, please. So, this is a extension, number 2 extension of services, Hope Beyond Bars, jail visits to PDLs. Ang mga nakakulong po, karamihan po dyan ay PWODs, persons who use drugs. So throughout these visits, nakita po namin yung need para makausap po yung mga warden and masabi sa kanila na, and especially yung PWODs, na kailangan nyo yung rehab. Karamihan kasi po sa kanila muna nauuna yung sentensya, because drug use is a crime in the Philippines. But we need to remind them that what is most important first is the rehabilitation aspect. Kasi pag napabayaan natin, ang utak masisira, and then that will lead to more problems. And then these are the different areas that we have visited already in Tabaco City, Legazpi City, Ligao, Ginubatan, Virac, and Catanduanes. We will be going to Masbate as well and visit those jails and inform them that there is hope beyond their incarceration. Next slide, please. And Together for Health and Together for Hope, yung mga nakakulong po ay binibigyan namin ng medical services. Well, they were really appreciated, and syempre wala naman silang kakayahan magpa-laboratory, magpa-gamot at makakabili ng gamot. Yun po ay pinoprovide ng institution kung whatever we have. Very important po doon ang doctors and dentists and nurses helping together to provide this for them. Next slide, please. And ito po, we have experienced last year, yung Typhoon Christine. This is one way also of telling people that Malinaw Treatment Rehabilitation is not just about PWODs, it's also about sharing our services to the community, which is also one of the mandates these days of our hospitals to reach out. Lalo na po ang mga hospital na malalaki, medical centers, marami silang mga espesyalista. So every now and then, we can provide services in the community na wala po silang panggasto. So we will be doing that. And alam nyo po itong ginawa ng MTRC, kami lang po ito sa amin bulsa yung mga dinonate ng mga employees. Kung ano po yung meron sila, binigay. And then binigay po namin, all together, we all went there in the 2 barangays of Kumon. In our own humble ways, we were able to provide medical and dental mission. Yung mga gamot po na ginamit dito, sinulisit lang po namin. And then yung mga pinamigay namin ng mga canned goods and rice, nanggaling po sa bulsa ng mga employees. And yung mga talents po namin, sila po ay nagbigay ng kasiyahan sa ating mga kababayan na during those times of typhoon and calamity, natulungan po sila. Next slide, please. And ito po yung collaborative meeting. So we went to the different hospitals, and kinakailangan po namin i-strengthen yon para po yung mga walang kakayahan at wala kaming services, doon po idadala namin sa hospitals and clinics. Next slide, please. So yan po si Dr. And then also we have a courtesy call with executive judges. So dito po na-iron out namin kung ano yung mga naging problems na encounter ng aming legal assistant or also yung aming lawyer, kung may mga problema po ang aming mga clientele. So dito po napag-usapan namin and we're able to identify those problems and currently inaayos namin kaya po mas napadali lahat at ngayon po mas dumadami po ang aming kliyente. Next slide please. We also do local chief executive courtesy call. Last week din po we went to Malinao and we knocked on the doors of the mayor. And also this afternoon, we will be going to Legazpi and Daraga. Pupunta po kami doon at makikipag-usap sa kanila at we will tell them that MTRC is here to provide services for your clientele. And we need your support and help. We have to be honest about that. And I think they will be happy to join us in terms of helping these people. Next slide, please. And example of sa Radio Veritas. Thank you, Jam. And Ma'am Susan Balane. And also yung sa DCGB, si Paddy Henry. And of course, sa Radio Pilipinas, Ma'am Nancy and Eman, thank you very much for coming. And you're able to help us. And doon po sa mga kaibigan natin sa media, we need your help and support. Hindi po namin to kaya ang laban sa droga. Kinakailangan po lahat ng mga members of the society and the institution, we involve them so that we can help together in addressing the needs of our community. Next slide, please. Again, we have to be reminded that in everything, in whatever that we do, whether it's for personal, family, and work, unahin natin si God, and God will provide all the things that we are asking for. Lalo na po ito ang pagtulong. Ito po ay isang napaka-noble thing to help other people who are in need. Next slide, please. And I think I was able to discuss this already. And for that, I would like to thank you for your time. And maraming salamat, our media partners. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doc. Reflecting on Doc's presentation, it's really about pushing boundaries, transformation, and expanding our reach in the community. Kanina, Doc briefly mentioned about the VLTS products. Andyan po sa ating right. On display are handcraft products proudly made by our MTRC residents. Ayan, they undergo various skills trainings, of course, through the efforts of the vocational and livelihood section and the continued support of the MTRC management. These products po are done every Tuesdays and Fridays in the life skills structure, which gives them time to make the said products. They were branded po as Orgulyo, taking from the Bicolana term referring to pride or a sense of honor and dignity. Kapag po na-discharge ang ating mga kliyente, they can claim their share or profit from the sales of the products. Ayan. So, later po you can check the handcraft products by our MTRC residents. To continue, it is also our pride to introduce a living proof that recovery is indeed real and possible. This morning, we will hear Mr. Emmanuel Benjamin Bonto, our staff here at the facility, as he shares a piece of himself and the story behind his recovery. Once again, a big round of applause for Kuya Benjo.
Good morning. Before anything else, I would like to welcome guests and participants from CHD, my co-staff, section heads from PNP, from media, Mamunet, Surgeon, Doc Irpa, and Doc Pulbert. Good morning sa inyong lahat. Okay, sige, flash po. Sige. This is my story po. Medyo kabado, Kuya Jan. Okay, during my drugging days, actually, my drug use is 20 years, plus 20 years po. Nagka-problema ako sa droga. Yun. Sige, flash po. Sige. This is my dragging day story. Bale, medyo kabado talaga kuya dyan. Sige, flash pa po, flash. Yun. Ito yung isa sa mga paborito kong isa sa mga paborito kong quote. Some are not given the gift of recovery in time. Kaya fight for your life while you still have one. Ito po yung nagtatak sa utak ko noon. Yun. My story is, masalimuot. Kasi, from masunuring anak, kapatid, and mabuting asawa. Pero, nung nag-umpisa ako mag-drugs, nawala siyang bigla. Nagbago yung pananaw ko sa buhay. Nasira yung tiwala, nawasak yung pagsasama. Actually po, I'm living without my family na nung time na before ako i-rehab. I stay at a place na marami siyang drugs, crimes, and etc. Yun. Ako po yan noon panahon. Ito po, yung bunso ko po siya. Ito yung picture na before ako ipasok dito sa rehab, nagpa-picture muna ako ng sarili ko. Sinama ko yung bunso ko po. Yun. To continue, isa siyang experience na nakakalungkot. Nakakalungkot in a way na nagtanong na ako sa sarili ko, bakit ako ganito? Bakit nangyari to sa akin? Bakit nangyayari to sa akin na hindi naman ako dati ganito? Yun. Kaya nag-decide ako na humingi ng tulong professional. Nag-usap kami ng aking asawa na magpaparehab daw ako. Dumating sa time na nahit ko yung bottom ko, na tumitira ako pero umiiyak ako. Ang tanong ko sa sarili ko, paano ako magbabago? Kaya I decided to talk to my wife and family na ipapasok nila uli ako sa rehab. Bali po, mga year 2010, nakapasok na po ako my first rehab, but I didn't. Hindi ako nagbago. Bumalik uli ako sa addiction ko. But that year, 2014, I decided na ipasok ako dito. I surrender myself to the program. Anong mga challenges ko nun sa program? Struggles during my residential program in MTRC. Kasi kulang po ang financial capacity po ng pamilya ko po. Kaya medyo hindi naman ako dito, non-residential ko, hindi naman ako dito yung may dating. Yung simple lang na nag-rehab. But, I continue to follow the program. Nagpasakop ako sa programa. Naniwala ako na kaya kong baguhin ang sarili ko. At naniwala ako sa tulong na mabibigay ng center sa akin. Ito na siguro ang pagkakataon na to thank the center. Yung mga dati kong yung mga dating nag-handle sa akin, may case manager, Kuya Jan, yung palabas na ako si Kuya Jan, ang case manager ko. Sa mga nurses noon, Kuya Ches, Ate Burns, hi, Ate Shai, hello. And sa iba pang mga staff, like Kuya Aser, thank you Kuya sa mga tulong nyo sa katulad namin na mga RDD. And message ko po sa mga taong naniniwala sa recovery ko. Message ko po is, pagpapatuloy ko po itong nasimulan kong pagtulong sa kapwa ko mga adik. And sa pamilya ko na umaasa na patuloy kong gagawin itong nasimulan kong pagbabago sa buhay ko. And I would like to thank my support group, yung NA people. Sir Nino, thank you. Thank you sa paggabay sa amin mga drug addict na gustong magbago paglabas namin ng center. Nandyan lang ang grupo namin, support group na nagtutulungan sa mga katulad namin mga gusto magbago. And I would like to thank my HP. Yun nga, sabi, recovery without spirituality is not a recovery. Nagpapasalamat ako na binigyan niya ako ng malinaw na pag-iisip na muling itry ang aking recovery. At hanggang ngayon, pinagpapatuloy ko pa. And message ko sa family ng mga kagaya kong drug dependent, na patuloy po niyong bibigyan ng suporta ang mga katulad namin na huwag mawalan ng pag-asa. Napatunayan namin sa community, sa inyo at sa sarili namin na kaya namin magbago. Yun ang kailangan na kailangan nila. Yun, another quote. I don't regret who I was. My past is a proof that recovery produces miracle. Wala po akong regret, only lesson learned sa journey ko bilang isang drug addict. Then recovery doesn't erase your story. It proves you survive it. Yun, ito po ako nung before and after. Yun, with my youngest son. And then, ako po ito ngayon. Salamat po MTRC sa pagturo muli sa akin ng daan patungo sa malinaw na bukas. Ako po si Benjo, dating adik, 7 taon ng rehab worker, 6 na taon na alcohol-free, at 8 taon na malinis sa droga. Maraming salamat.
Hello. Thank you so much, Kuya Benj. Ayan. Kami dito sa MTRC are truly grateful for letting you embrace recovery and of course, for embracing the help na naging available sa'yo. Once again, a big round of applause for Kuya Benjo. To continue, a message of support will be given to us by a representative of the Philippine Information Agency. We have here Sir Marlon Atun. Sir, good morning po.
Thank you so much, Madam. And to my compadre, Doc Fulbert Gallego, magandang umaga. And to our other guests, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to our friends from the media, a pleasant good afternoon to each and everyone. On behalf of the Philippine Information Agency Region 5, with our regional head, Ramil A. Marianito, ARH Lisel Makatangay, I'm here to represent the office and to share with you the support that the office can give to MTRC. Of course, I'm honored and grateful to the invitation, which in the invitation, it is stated there, specifically my name. But sabi ko, hindi pwedeng hindi pumunta. Kahit na walang pangalan ko doon, I'll be here because I would want to, of course, share my personal support to the programs. Of course, the office support to the program. Rest assured that the Philippine Information Agency will always be there to support your programs, your innovations, and all. Because we are in the government in the campaign against drugs. So, as I had this recollection a while ago, sabi ko, it would be better for us and Tri-Media or Quad Media, no? Because we have the social media now, to make that campaign that for the community to be more aware about the danger of drugs, dangers or the harmful effect of drugs, not only in oneself, but in the entire family and the entire community. So, prevention is better than cure, ika nga. So, let's focus on prevention. Let's try to convey messages that will run through the heart of every individual. So, that they should not be dreaming of coming over here. Okay? I think that's the bare message. Media, kami, sa Philippine Information Agency. We are in the forefront of information. And in fact, our mandate is to disseminate that information that are accurate, timely, and relevant. And I believe that drug prevention is a very relevant matter to each and every one. It has no time, okay? It has no time, definitely. But, of course, the thing that is accurate, it is accurate. Why? Accuracy here is that we need to give information that are accurate in terms of prevention. So I vow on that idea that let us not give them the idea that, hey, there is that MTRC. We go for this and later on we get rehab. No, not that the thing. The very good thing I believe as an employee of the government and as a person is that we personally we campaign that drug addiction should be, if not totally eradicated, at least diminished to the least of it in the community. So of course we collaborate with the enforcers, and of course this collaboration includes what? Giving them the information that, hey, there are drug dens in here, there are things like this that are engaging in drugs. So I believe this can help a lot. In order for this facility not to be overwhelmed later on with drug cases. I was able to talk with one of the officials of the BJMP, and they said, hey, come on, what are the statistics in your office? They say that most of the PDLs and most are coming from those people who engage in drugs. So this is really something to think about. Let's go for that goal that we should give total prevention, total information against drug addiction. Again, from behalf of the Philippine Information Agency Region 5, thank you so much for accommodating me here, and God bless.
Thank you so much, Sir Marlon, for your time and of course, for your continued support for the center. Kanina narinig natin si Sir Marlon, he is one with MTRC in our shared commitments towards accurate and efficient information. All right, so now we come to the highlight of this press conference, the open forum. Our invited friends from the media will be given an equal time to raise their questions. We have at least 30 minutes for this portion. Meron po tayong mga mic na available po na malapit sa inyo. And now the floor is open for your questions. Okay, ma'am, from the DCGB.
Marhay na hap po. I am Angel Mustaza from DCGB. Ang question ko po is, kanina nabanggit ni Sir John yung about po sa drug dependency examination. And you mentioned po, sir, na meron tayong mga satellite offices and na-mention mo na magdadagdag tayo ng mga satellite offices. Dito po ba sa Bicol Region, since tatlo lang ang satellite offices natin, may mga target LGUs na po ba tayo na pwedeng lagyan ng mga satellite for further yung mga services po ng Malinaw Treatment and Rehabilitation Center po?
Ayun po. Good morning po, Ma'am Angel. Pero ako nagdadawag DCGB padigdi sa opisina. Yung nakatunin ako sa radyo. Sideman lang po ito. Actually, we do have plans of expanding our satellite offices to make our center more accessible. Pero before sa plans, iistorya ko nga ma'am sa mga nangyari before. Actually, we had more satellite office before the pandemic came. We have one satellite office actually sa Catanduanes na tao mismo kang or tigrent me through the efforts ng Governor Ninda. However, kang pandemic came in, we had to give up that office and shift to a online na platform. We also had one in Tabaco City before. Kaso din kang pandemic time, nawara ito. And eventually, after the pandemic season, only these 3 offices were maintained through the help of the local government unit. That was before. Sa future plans naman, ma'am, yes. Actually, ang plans ni Doc Fulbert, a very good visionary nito, ilalabi namin sa local government units na dagdagan pa. Particularly, makauron po kami sa Legazpi City na mas accessible pa duman, maray pong malaagan duman. And we have future plans po. Actually, this coming August, maduman kami sa local government unit Kimasbate. Hiling man din, kakauron mi ang governor, tapos mga local government unit, if there is also a need na makapag-set up kami duman ki mga satellite offices. So iyo po ito ang future plans na madagdagan pa siya and hopefully ma-restore mi din sa Catanduanes. Para kung may mga pasyente po duman, matatawan mi po kay serbisyo. So yan po ma'am, I think may dagdag pa po ang samuyang chief of hospital.
I think John was able to answer that question very well. Yun po, kinakailangan kaming magkatok talaga sa mga local chief executives para matulungan po kami and mas maidala namin yung outpatient care services and then aftercare sa mga LGUs na mas malapit. And then doon po sa na-mention mo na drug dependency examination, actually po pinaplano din namin na kasi ang mga MHOs ngayon, karamihan po mga bago na. Though ang Department of Health po has been doing diligently to train them, now we will also conduct similar activities that will further strengthen and then ipunin po yung mga MHOs para po makapacitate pa sa kanila. Kasi this past days po, may mga na-receive pa kami na nire-refer sa amin ng judges. Very grateful po kami doon. However, mild case po. So when it's a mild case, it should be in the local government unit through their CBRP, Community-Based Rehabilitation Program. Thank you. Actually po, ang sinasabi nating facility is just a room na siguro may comfort room and then secure po yung place kasi pupunta po doon yung aming mga personnel program managers, and then doon po nila ikakandak yung program intended for that particular case. And ang LGU po may mga ano naman sila, may mga rooms na pwedeng puntahan. This afternoon po pupunta kami sa Legazpi City, and we have a scheduled meeting with Mayor Hisham, and hopefully sa Daragalan, Monet is also able to, I think, get a schedule. So lahat po yun we will try to explore para po mabigyan po ito ng additional areas. Thank you. Would you like to?
Buti nga tumingin ako sa census board kanina. Pagpasok nyo po, di ba may census board doon? For residential, ma'am, currently we have 105 patients, both men and women. I think may 19 po kaming babae at present. So 19 minus 105, 86 kaito ang men. Yun po ang yaon sa residential program. Duman man po sa aftercare, so mga yaon na pasyente may pa, igwa po kaming 120 at present. So 120 po yan, scattered across Masbate, Catanduanes, Albay, and Sorsogon yan. And for the outpatient program, correct me if I'm wrong sa outpatient, nasa 60 plus, 62 ang pasyente may sangunyan na tig-cater. Mostly nito are from Ligao, Legazpi, and Tabaco na yaon sa outpatient program. And Sorsogon, yun po ito.
Thank you so much, DZGB. We have here another question from Radyo Veritas. Ma'am?
Hello. Hello. Good afternoon po. Kanina kasi na-amaze naman kami kasi parang one-stop shop. Sabi ko kay Ate Nancy, parang kulang na lang ay detention facility. Detention facility para yung mga PWD natin automatic na re-rehab. So, may mga question na kanina pero may mga nasagot naman like yung pagbibisita po nyo dun sa mga district, sa mga jail facility, nung tinitingnan natin yun dun yung mga PWDs na they are also needed for rehabilitation. So paano ba yan? Are we extending our services to the jail facility? And ito po bang mga patient natin po dito, Doc and Surgeon, ay ano, sila ba ay mga nagkaroon ng, kasi alam naman natin na pag PWDs, pag gumagamit tayo ng drugs, ay may nakukomit tayong crime, di ba? So, sila, paano natin sila ma-decide? Sila ba ay yung mga hindi, yung nakulong, tapos for rehabilitation na? And paano sila naging patients, so kumbaga recommended by the judges, recommended by the PNP, kasi di ba maraming accomplishment ang PNP, ang PDEA, so maraming nahuhuli, nakukulong, so yung bang mga nakukulong na yun, kailangan din nila ng rehabilitation. So paano ba ma-extend yung help, and itong mga nandito na ay nakakommit ba sila ng crime? So, paano ba sila napunta dito, sir?
Thank you very much, Ma'am Susan. Kasi po, di ba, sabi natin, ang paggamit ng droga sa Pilipinas is a crime. So, ando doon po yung aspect na yon na that they should serve their sentences. Pero po, sa pag-ikot namin sa mga jail, karamihan po sa kanila, pangalawa, pangatlo, pang-apat na. So, kung tatanungin mo sila na rehab na ba kayo, hindi pa. So, yung isang pagkakataon po na punta sila sa kulungan, it would be the very timely na dapat appropriate na mga rehab na po sila. Kasi pag hindi sila na rehab, ang mangyayari, paulit-ulit lang po nilang gagawin yon. While in fact po, kung yung na-explain nga po kanina ni John na mga programs po na ginagawa, napakalaking tulong po nito sa mga taong pong naggamit ng droga at doon po mabibigyan sila ng pagkakataon para ma-accept nila una sa kanilang sarili na gumamit sila ng droga at matuturuan po sila ng mga skills kung paano po lalabanan ang pagtanggi sa paggamit ng droga. And then yung doon po sa mga jail, inaalam namin kung ano yung mga status ng cases. Andyan po yung aming abogado. Inaalam po namin yung mga cases nila. Sila po ba ay matatapos na ang ma-serve nila ang kanilang sentences, or sila po ba ay nag-undergo or nag-request ng plea bargaining. So ito po mga bagay na ito inaalam natin. And from there po, binibigyan natin sila ng answer kung paano nila magagawa yung rehabilitation aspect, of which is very important. And then doon po, in the past, marami na pong from jail na ipapadala dito sa amin, and kung ang problema po nila yung mga requirements at yung mga pera, ang sa pag-rehab, wala naman po talaga kaming bayad sa pagpa-rehab, except yung binabayad po nila dito ay binibili ng pagkain po nila. Yung na-mention po, Ma'am Susan, kanina ni John, 5 beses po silang pinapakain. So, doon pa lang po sa meal requirement nila, doon po napupunta yung gastos. Now, kung wala po, nilalagay po sila under sa MyFIP. Meron po kaming mga social worker, in-evaluate po yung kanilang capacity. And then another one po is yung strategy po na kakatok po kami sa puso ng mga local chief executive na sa kanilang pondo na baka po madagdagan naman po ang kanilang mga constituents na yung nandito po. And in the process, yung mga PWOODs, hindi na po sila mahihirapan problema sa pera. Kasi ang pagkakaintindi po nila sa rehabilitation, malaki po ang gagastusin nila, while in fact, it's not. Yung pagkain lang po nila. So yung mga bagay na yun po, may hihingi natin yun ng tulong.
Additionally po, common po yung mga nasa jail po, ma'am, mag-plea bargaining sila kasi may choice sila. Halimbawa po, Section 5 is users and Section 11 is selling. So, mas mahaba ang stay nila sa kulungan. So, pag mahaba po ang stay nila sa kulungan, they would have yung plea bargaining agreement doon sa court. So, kalimitan po magpi-plea sila na mag-rehab. So, pag nabigyan sila ng rehab, automatic the court po mag-order for rehabilitation, complete rehabilitation po. So, minsan po, nakukumpleto nila yon para po, yun na rin po yung sentence nila.
So, i-apply po yun. Kasi naalala mo, Doc, sa attorney, nung pinag-uusapan natin to, di ba may nag-react na yung gusto niyang ipa-rehab yung anak niya, yung binigay natin yung contact number, pero unfortunately, hindi na siya kasi nahuli na yung anak niya, nakakulong na ngayon. So, gusto daw na magpa-rehab na. So, nagsisi na, gusto na magpa-rehab. Ang tanong ngayon ng nanay, nakakommit nga siya ng crime at naka-detained na. Gusto nang magpa-rehab ng anak niya. So, paano yun? Pwede na yun sa
Plea
pre-bargaining?
bargaining po.
Okay. So, saan po siya lalapit?
Sa court po.
Sa court na.
Apo.
Okay.
Sa court po kasi ang mag-order for rehabilitation po siya.
Apo, sige
Apo.
po.
Kalimitan po ganun po ang ginagawang way ng mga gusto po mag-rehab. Kasi po, di ba po yung iba, napipick up ng mga police. Tapos 2 years na po sila doon, walang nangyayari. Ang tendency po gagawin is magpi-plea bargaining na sila. May nag-a-advise po yatang lawyer doon po sa kanila na mag-plea na lang para yung succeeding na sentence sa kanila, pwede na po sa rehab.
Apo. Last na lang po, i-share ko na lang. Sa amin po sa Radyo Veritas and sa Veritas TV, may 2 times a week program ang Social Action Center. Dinidiscuss din po yung aftercare, yung kasi di ba may parang support dito sa itong parang program din natin, pero aftercare sila, yung mga nare-rehab na, so sinusuportahan din. And every Friday, mayroon din kaming free psychosocial consultation on air, mga psychiatrist and ano din po ang nagpo-program doon. So baka mag-collab tayo. So makatulong kami sa sa information dissemination po. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, from Radyo Veritas. Ayun, narinig natin, another possible collaboration. Okay, so another question.
Wait lang, Casey, may response lang kami kay ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. We are very open to the collaboration. Andito po si Doc Irfa, tapos ang aming mga psychometricians who are trained counselors as well. Makatabang pa lamang po. Yes po, we are very open to that. Yes, po. Sorry, ma'am. Sorry po na namin na-cut. Pero yan po, ma'am. That's our commitment.
Alright, thank you po, and pasensya na, ma'am. Ayan. Sige po, another question. Si
Yes.
Ma'am Nancy po.
Yes, thank you very much. Magandang tanghali na po everyone, Doc. And in behalf of our media friends, you know, my reporter, nandito si Emma, nakabit talaga siya, Doc, sa inyo. But before that, before sa tanong ko, happy anniversary, MTRC, congratulations. Alam niyo po, ang ganda nung nakita ko kanina, Voices of Healing. It's indeed talaga healing and comforting and soothing to everyone's ear. So, before that, congratulate ko lang si Doc Fulbert for reaching out, for opening this MTRCB to media. Talagang, ang sabi ko nga, Doc, it could be benchmarking on your part, setting a trend, a standard, na ito talaga, a rehab treatment center is open to media. Kapag ka nandyan kasi ang media, parang napaka-transparent, di ho ba? So that's how I look at it. Sabi ko, congratulations to everyone sa MTRC. And Radyo Pilipinas will always be present kapag kailangan niyo po kami. Parang kami po magiging channel to make it easier also to cascade the good news in your center. So ang tanong ko na po is, before that, congratulations for what you have envisioned to the center. Okay, in behalf of my team, Emma is always here. Narinig ko kanina, set international standard po ang sinusunod ninyo, di ba? That's quite amazing, di ba? Because a rehab center like this, sometimes ang hirap abutin. But kayo po ang pumupunta sa amin, lalo na sa media, na maabot po yung rehab center and malaman ng tao what's the role. Ano talaga nandito, no? And which maaalis po yung stigma, di ba, Doc? And everyone. So ang tanong ko na lang, going forward, moving forward, ang ganda po ng inyong presentation. It's laudable, congratulations. Nandun yung existing, yung moving forward, your plans in the future. Kasama kami doon, the media group. May it be public or private media, nandito po para sa inyo. Dok, tingnan ko lang, yung maganda lang po dito is, comparatively speaking, no, we have also in Camarines to right, and other rehab center na mayroon tayo in Bicol. Well, ang tanong ko is, international standard. Una po yung pag-o-open nyo po sa amin sa media, one of a kind po ito na nangyari, that a rehab center invited media to be part of your anniversary. Ang tanong ko na lang is, moving forward to that international standard, can you give us or can you enumerate some of the few criteria that masasabi natin saan dito ang rehab center na meron pa tayong kulang na we're willing na ma-cope natin yon, pero we'll be very proud that isang rehab center in Bicol, pwede natin ma-brag across the country and across the global community. May we have that po?
Ma'am, good morning po. Akong pinapasagot ni Doc. It's really our vision, ma'am. Actually, our vision is maging premier TRC talaga dito sa Bicol region at lahat. And it's a very long way. Kung naipresent ko man po kanina na maganda, ma'am, while we are doing so many good things, there are still so many things that we have to improve on. Particularly, improving on our manpower. Para masabi natin talagang international standard siya, kailangan matrain natin yung mga tao sa international standard ng treatment. Katunayan po, ma'am, meron na po mga staff dito sa amin which was trained by ISOP, the International Substance Use of Professionals. Parang an organization that sets the standards internationally on how to deal with substance dependence. So meron po tayo ngayon at least 4 na license na ng ISOP. They are internationally certified addiction professional na masasabi natin that what they are giving is at par with the international standards. Also, ma'am, yung paglago din ng programa. Yung nakita ko before, parang andito lang sila, may ginagawa, but there are so many components into the program that is being added that we can say are evidence-based. Kagaya na lang po yung sinabi kong CBT kanina, evidence-based po yun na that's a par with international standard that really helps people in changing. The Matrix Intensive Outpatient Program is also an evidence-based. Yung motivational interviewing po, ma'am, evidence-based po yan. These are all the things that actually helps them recover. Aside pa po ito doon sa mga medical and psychiatric management that we give to them. Kumbaga ma'am, it's becoming an international standards kasi ina-address natin yung lahat ng needs ng pasyente. Noon parang ang management ng substance use, ilagay mo lang yan sa facility, mag-follow lang siya ng TC, after okay na. But this time, it's looking into ano ba talaga ang problema niya. What do we assess that the problem ng pasyente, and we address all of those problems. So parang in an international standard, ganun dapat ng pag-manage ng pasyente, to be highly specialized and responsive to their needs po. So yun po yung future plans. Matrain pa po sana ang lahat ng staff. Magkaroon pa po ng opportunities training.
So, hindi naman po siguro imposible kasi nabanggit ni Doc kanina the future plans.
Yes,
So perhaps lots of innovation and na makikita po natin o kaya innovations or perhaps plans ninyo po sa pamumuno ni Doc Fulbert. So really, sabi ko, looking forward that your center would be recognized in Bicol, probably across the country and internationally with all these innovations na inilalagay po natin. Like yung nabanggit kanina, international standard. Congratulations, Doc, for that. Na talagang, sabi ko nga, healing. When we hear that word, healing, really, talaga that's really soothing. Kahit saang banda ng buhay, kapag may healing, that's really comforting. Di ho ba? Lalo na po pag kayo ng mga medical workers, kami po hindi po kami medical workers, but your presence really comforts us, heals us, no? So yun po siguro. So we're looking forward for this, Doc. Congratulations sa inyo. Again, happy anniversary in behalf of RPA. Congrats po.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, if I just may add, parang in terms of innovation, actually po, ngayon lang ang center namin nakapag-reach ng more than 100 patient. In the past years po talaga, and I think I have to put the praise kay Doc Fulbert sa efforts niya when innovative thinking niya of going to the jails kasi andun yung pasyente at sa mga LCAs, that was the time na talagang dinagsa kami ng pasyente. Ang vision talaga ni Doc, let's utilize kung anong resources ng gobyerno para dito. Kaya ito po ngayon, fruit po ito ng brain po ni Doc Fulbert ang vision niya na mas ma-utilize pa ang drug rehab program ng Pilipinas.
Thank you. One thing more that I would want to share is to avoid, maalis, ma-minimize, or talagang totally mawala yung stigma.
Yes,
Because
ma'am.
that's the stigma that really kills the community na, nega agad po, no. Through us, media group, kami po nandito, will really cascade the good news of what's really this, narinig natin yung testimonial ni Sir kanina, yung last na speaker natin. That's quite hard, talaga nakakatats ng puso. His journey na talagang hindi imposible kapag ka nagtutulong-tulong ho tayo. So treatment and rehab center has really a very important role. So yun lang po. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
May idadagdag lang po ako doon. Yung nasabi po ni John is ika-capacitate pa po namin ang mga personnel for trainings, very important trainings that are related po dito sa rehabilitation program. And isa po yun sa mga priorities ko po when I came here is pro-human resource. So, dapat po i-capacitate natin ang ating mga personnel para for them to be, they're confident in what they're doing and also to the maximal benefit of our clients whom we serve. So, yun po, napakalaking bagay po yun. And with that, it will also help improve pa of the current services that we are providing. We're always open po doon sa improvements sabi nyo nga po, lahat po tayo may room for improvements pa, and that is what we want to do po sa center. Thank you.
Okay, Doc. Congrats.
Good afternoon po, Doc John Mendoza po of Veritas TV. Mention ni Sir John kanina about yung treatment nila. Mayroon kayong tinawag na online, mayroon kayong outpatient, and mayroon kayong in-house. So, paano ngayon tatakbo ang ganitong treatment and paano ito magkakaroon ng parehas na sabihin natin yung ano talaga nila, yung treatment ng bawat isa. So, anong pagkakaiba nito?
Hi sir, parang difficult na tanong niyo sir. Actually po, yung online, binibigay po talaga namin yun sa mga walang kakayahan na pumunta dito. Pero yung nakita namin na they really need treatment and rehabilitation center. Sir, let me clarify, yung online po para sa outpatient client lang.
All right.
Pero pag severe po talaga ang pasyente, kailangan mo ng residential. Wala yon, deal breaker yon. Pag severe ka, hindi pwede sa yung online. Ibig sabihin, wala ka talagang kakayahan to control your drug use, and you're recommended na mag-in-house dito sa loob. Wala pong online doon for the in-house. The only online lang po is for the outpatient clients residing lalo na sa mga island provinces. Halimbawa po sir, may isa kaming pasyente ngayon sa Catanduanes, iisang piraso lang, nasa dulo pa ng Catanduanes, parang imposible din po logistically na puntahan namin siya. So what we do as innovation, ino-online sessions namin muna siya. And also, pero to check if may drug use po siya, we would refer him to a drug testing facility near sa kanya. Requirement po namin to magkaroon ng surveillance of drug use sa programa. As to effectiveness naman sir, there's an ongoing research ngayon ng DOH to see kung effective ba talaga yung ganitong modality. Ano po, especially for the aftercare doon sa online. And true enough, ang promising result niya, halos pareho din naman po pala, lalo na kung nasa malalayong lugar. Kaya lang po sir, like any other else, consistency of attendance pa rin ang ating factor. Diba? Kung consistent naman siya online mag-attend, more or less yung willingness niya to finish the program and stay in the program, talaga pong magre-recover yan. Pero kung hindi naman po sila very willing na to attend, yun po ang challenge. How do we invite these people to stay in our program?
Alright. Sa statistics po ninyo, sir, based sa records po ninyo, dun sa mga pumasok na mga patients po, so ilan ba ho dun yung totally na hindi na bumalik? O percentage? Kasi may mga tendency kasi yung iba talagang na-rehab na and bumabalik at bumabalik. So, mayroon ba kayong records na ilang percent ang hindi na talaga totally rehab na, hindi na bumalik?
Opo. Sir, mahabang taon no, 25 years na yung MTRC to get the data. But what I can give you sir is yung ilan yung nakakatapos ng aming aftercare program. Sa data namin ngayon, for the aftercare program for both galing sa outpatient and inpatient, pumapalo siya sir sa 60 to 70% ang nakakapagtapos. So kung 1:10, may 3 po kaming nalalaglag. It's either nabaybas po yan, bumalik dito sa amin, or na lost to follow up na po namin siya. This is actually high sir compared nung before pa. And kung titingnan natin ang nature of addiction sa definition niya, it's a chronic relapsing disease. It's an encouragement na ang isang drug dependent nakapagtapos ng program at gumamit ulit, it does not necessarily mean the treatment was failure. Titingnan lang natin, saan ba ulit siya? Ano yung factor naman ulit at gumagamit siya at tara ayusin natin. So ganun po yung mindset namin as to relapse. It may be discouraging at the eyes of others, pero medically, tinitingnan namin siya at isa yan, part yan ng proseso po nila. Kaya yung 3 na yon, we dream na sana mag-8 pa or mag-9 pa para mabawasan po sila. Pero reality po talaga, meron at meron pong bumabalik.
Congrats pa. Last 2 questions. Ay, Doc. Yeah.
May dadagdag lang ako doon kanina. You were asking kanina, it's about impulse control, and then it has something to do with the severity. Yung severity, kung gaano kalala, yun yung na-explain kanina ni John na merong sa outpatient at merong sa residential or yung sa loob. And then yung ngayon naman, yung sa tinatanong mo kanina, it's about yung relapse. So may mga cases talaga na bumabalik sila sa paggamit ng droga. So yun ang mga kinakailangan matutukan. Sabi nga ni John, we have to look into those clients na nag-go into relapse kasi they have to be returned dito sa aming facility, or example, dating moderate category pero may relapse siya. So siguro baka hindi lang outpatient ang kailangan niya, kailangan na siya residential. So nire-recommend po ng ating mga program managers na pumunta na sa rehab. Saan yun nire-recommend? Sa mga judges po. So ganun din po from the community, ang mga ina-assess po na mild cases na ina-undergo po ng rehabilitation sa community-based. So nando doon sa community ang mga nag-ano nun, mga MHOs, and then under the different LGUs. So pag nag-relapse sila doon at bumalik ulit at gumamit ulit, definitely there's a need na i-refer na sila sa amin dito. So how are we going to do that? That is through the strengthening of our collaboration with our stakeholders. Yung mga MHOs po, yun ang balak namin gagawin na this coming months nila dyan, na i-invite namin sila to set down the roles. So kung may mga doctors sa community, kung may makita kayo na nag-relapse at bumalik sa paggamit ng droga through your monitoring sa aftercare, please don't hesitate to refer them to us, and then we will categorize them as to their current drug use. So yun po ang gagawin. Thank you.
Last 2 questions na lang, Doc. Pasensya na po. Okay, sundan ko lang yung sinabi ni Sir. Paano ngayon sa mga, syempre yung mga gumagamit at hindi pa gumagamit? So the question is, ano ba yung nagtitrigger sa isang tao na maging addict o nandito na yung addiction? Paano siya napupunta doon addiction na sinasabi? So syempre isipin natin, syempre tumitikim siya. So bakit niya inuulit-ulit yung ganon at na-addict siya? So ano ba mga nagtitrigger doon na nagiging addict ang
those what you're asking are the causes or the reasons why a person would try and then, or a person would again go back to those previous drug use. Of course, dun sa mga first-timer, curiosity, or to belong sa mga kabataan natin na para makasama sila dun sa grupo, i-try din nila para kasama sila. And then, doon naman po sa mga dati nang gumamit, well, ang number 1 po dyan, pag hindi na-address yung needs nila, like yung sa financial reasons, it's very easy for them to escape. Escape from what? Escape from the problems, current problems, whether it be financially or family, yung marriage, naghiwalay, nawalan ng trabaho. So these are very concrete reasons for drug use. And ito po, yun ay ina-address po ng ating mga program managers once po napunta sila dito. And syempre po, yun ang isi-strengthen natin sa community-based rehabilitation program, lalong-lalo na po sa monitoring nila kasi doon po malalaman sa paanong paraan mag-drug testing. Yun po ay napakahalaga para malaman talaga kung gumagamit or hindi.
Opo, Doc, last question na lang. Paano nyo ngayon, kasi na-mention nyo kanina, yung expansion, yung pag-expand ng services nyo sa Catanduanes and Masbate. So now, ano na po nung nasimulan nyo para ma-extend yung services nyo pa? Thank you.
We went there as a team. And then pumunta po kami sa mga stakeholders like yung mga local chief executive. Kaya lang po nung time na yun, pumunta kami sa Catanduanes, election period, so wala yung mga ano. But we will be going back doon para makausap namin yung governor and then yung mga mayors, and we will put them together. Let's say invite namin sila, like yung mga barangay captains, ano yung mga kailangan nilang dapat gawin or anong pag-igihan pa or ipa-implement ng ating mga mayors sa community, yung community-based rehabilitation, lalong-lalo na po yung presence ng DILG. So sa Legazpi, nakausap ko na rin si Ma'am MC that we will be going there, kami as a team, to tell her na, Ma'am, on these occasions, we will be inviting this and then para ma-strengthen yung order from the national government, yung DILG. And then yun po na maipakilala namin sa kanila na yung programa po ng MTRC andi dito para sa moderate and severe, and then hindi po siya huwag isipin yung bayad kasi ang bayad po, it's not our concern. Ang concern po namin is ma-rehabilitate yung pasyente. Now, pagdating po doon sa gagastusin, let us do that. Kami na po ang gagawa doon ng paraan while either definitely evaluate po ng aming social worker kung ano yung category nila, then mahingi namin ng tulong sa mga local chief executive kasi may fund naman po sila doon na to squeeze in from their budget na tulungan yung kanilang mga constituents. And then another one is sa mga naman po sa mga congressman, kakatok po kami sa kanilang puso, sa kanilang mga funding yung MyFIP ngayon na tinatawag, and pwede po yun mag-finance doon sa aming mga pasyente. And lastly, sa rehabilitation po, hindi problema ang pera kasi hindi naman po yun talagang intention ng rehab. Kung walang pera, we can still rehabilitate and then gagawan po namin ng paraan para makakain pa rin po sila dito sa center.
Thank you so much, sir, from Radyo Veritas. Another question from Sir Marlon. All right, from DCGB po. Sir?
Good morning, good afternoon. Matagal-tagal na ako na-assign sa First District. At siguro hindi bababa sa dalawang incident na may mga tumakas dito na na-cover ka. Ang tanong ko, bakit may gustong tumakas? Bakit meron namang ayaw tumakas dito? At sino itong gustong tumakas at sino naman yung ayaw tumakas?
Ako na muna, sir, sumagot kung bakit nila gusto tumakas. Ano po, if we're going to look yung lahat ng incidents namin, kung bakit tumakas yung mga taong yun at laliman mo yung reason nila, it would always boil down to ang baba po ng coping skill nila sa stress. So pag pinasok sila dito, akala nila may nangyayari sa labas, hindi nila kaya yung problema i-handle din dito sa loob, and ang nature nila at ang knee-jerk reaction, tatakasan ko na lang yung problemang ito. So parang yun ang root cause niya. Very poor ang coping skills niya in terms of stressors sa buhay niya. That ang manifestation niya, I'll just act it out, tatakas na lang ako sa problema. Yun po ang, I think, ang rason kung bakit tumatakas yung pasyente. Akala nila, hindi ito makakatulong sa kanila at may hirapan sila dito at aalis na lang ako. Doon naman po sa mga hindi tumakas, it's either, syempre napilitan po sila pumasok dito, or may motibasyon na po silang ipagpatuloy ang kanilang pagbabago. Yun po siguro ang, help me with the program, I think that is the psychology behind it, sir. Why people would want to go out even though they are provided with a health service for them to change. Very poor ang coping skills for stressors. And yun po ang gusto naming mabago sa kanila. Kasi kung ito nga, andito ka na sa lugar na to, tinuturuan ka, paano i-handle yung stress mo, paano pa pag lumabas ka? Mas maraming stressor pa sa buhay. Kung hindi mo kaya i-handle ang stress mo dito, paano pa sa labas? Of course, ang takas mo sa labas, hindi yan ang balls, kundi paggamit ng drugs. So, yun po, sir. Sa administratively, sir, kung paano namin pinaprevent pagtakas, facilitatein ko po si Mamonet.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for the question. Wow. Sundan ko yung binigay na sagot ni Sir Jano kasi it's more on, sabi niya, it's more on psychological, ang pagtakas, etc. However, on the administrative side, sabi nga namin, or dati pa in the previous, kung ang tao talaga gustong tumakas, gagawin ang paraan kahit anuman ang nakahadlang, talagang tatakas. Would you believe that there is an incident na kami in the security and even the personnel cannot imagine kung paano nagawa yon na alisin yung mga matitigas na mga, sobrang tigas na mga bakal in just anong man ang ginawa niya. Pero he was able to do it. So it's beyond the comprehension of our security. As for the facility, we made sure there are several already mga mga enhancements, mga improvements in the facility to ensure that there is really parang secured place in MTRC. Ang aming security personnel are only limited, so we can only do so much with the perimeter of our vision, no, lalo na sa aming mga security. Pero rest assured that everything na nangyayari and lahat na nakikita at na nangyayari ng mga pagtakas dito ay ginagawa ng paraan at nabibigyan ng katuunan na pansin. Yan po, thank you.
Okay. Doon sa sagot ni Sir John, ibig sabihin, merong yung mga gustong tumakas dati ay nababago din in the process. Nawawala yung kagustuhan nilang tumakas. Dahil sa na-undergo na sila ng mga proseso sa treatment. Di po ba? Ito pa. Isa pang question. Nung last na punta ko dito, may ginagamot kayong mga alcoholic. But parang hindi nababanggit ngayon dito.
Sir, hindi ko lang po siguro nabanggit. Actually, for a time, tumigil kami sa pag-admit ng alcoholic. But lately, napagdesisyonan po ng management committee kasi parang walang nagbibigay ng service sa kanila. In the spirit of DOH that universal healthcare, dapat lahat maserbisyohan, hindi lang ng drug dependence. So nag-decide yung management ngayon, sino bang institution na dapat mag-cater sa kanila? Ang panginginom, addiction din yan. Panginginom, kami ang dapat na mag-cater sa kanila. So nag-a-admit na po kami ngayon ulit, sir, ng alcoholics. Meron po, sorry po, hindi ko lang po na-mention kanina, but we are now catering also to alcoholics. We're just making sure na physiologically, bago po sila ma-admit dito, okay po ang kanilang pangangatawan. So may different lang po na ano.
Follow-up question. Is it true na mas mahirap pagalingin ng alcoholic kaysa drug addict?
Siguro,
bakit?
sir, scientifically speaking, hindi po siguro ako expert to say kung ano siya. Pero siguro, nakukuha yan sa pagsabi kasi mas readily available yung alak. Di ba po? And culturally sinasabi ni doktora, mas acceptable ang pag-iinom kesa sa drug dependence. Kaya siguro, nasasabi natin na mas mahirap po siyang gamutin. Kaya po siguro ganun po, sir. Pero kung sa pag-aaral siguro, wala po akong datos ngayon na mapapasabing mas mahirap po siya. Pero sa mga pananaw na ganun, culturally at saka readily available, talaga pong mahirap mas alisin.
Thank you po.
Si Dr. Ata would like to add po.
Gusto magdagdag ng aming psychiatrist.
Sir, ano po yan? Culture nga po natin kasi, mas may mas mura kasi. Pareho lang po siya ng cigarette. Same ang function niya sa brain, alcohol, any substance use, same lang po ang target nila sa brain. So, kaya lang bakit illicit drug pagdating sa marijuana? Pagdating sa marijuana and methamphetamine. Kasi nga po, medyo mas madali, mahirap siyang hanapin, plus, mas madaming na-abuse, mas madami siyang nagagamit. Sa alcohol kasi, noon pa, pwede tayong gumamit. May nagiging functional tayo, kahit uminom tayo ng konti. Pero pag marijuana po or methamphetamine kasi, pag gumamit ka, yung functionality mo, hindi mo na siya magagamit masyado. So kaya yung cigarette, after 30 minutes, mag-yosi ka ulit. Diba? Kasi bumababa na yung level. Kailangan na ng brain mo, sundan ulit siya. So addicted na siya pag ilang cigarette ka na. Pero kasi nga, okay lang sa atin, ng community. So kaya kahit iba-ibang brand siya, iba-iba din yung effect niya, binababaan yung nicotine niya, same pa din po yung target sa brain. Same as the alcohol po. Kaya parang okay lang din yung alcohol. Pero same lang din po ang treatment nila. And katulad nung kanina, may mga psychological problem din kasi po sila. Hindi lang po yung substance use, may iba pang mental disorder, comorbid ng substance use po. Like depression, bipolar, or any other mental disorder po.
Summarize ko lang po ang sinabi nila Jan at ni Doktora. Kasi sa ating bansa, when you use drug, it's a crime. Definitely, ang gumagamit nun, tinatago. And hindi ka pwedeng bumili kahit saan-saan. Samantalang ang sigarilyo, ang alcohol, Nonoy, pakipakal nga ka doon si lolo mo ng sigarilyo, sindihan mo na, yup-yupon mo na, tanganing may kwa na. So, it becomes, tama yung sinabi ni Doktora, it's a culture na tanggap sa atin na magsigarilyo kung ang nakikita ng mga bata, si Papa, nagsisigarilyo, si Lolo nagsisigarilyo, si Mama uminom ng alak. So it becomes normal na dun sa community and sa family. However, pag gumamit ka ng droga, subukan mo at lantaran. Definitely, andyan po yung ating mga men in uniform. Of course, they will be subjected to the law that is existing in our country and it's bawal po. Yun lang po. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir Jomar. We have here Sir Marlon for his question.
Thank you. I forgot the most important thing kanina. The greetings to the institution of a happy 25th anniversary. Yeah. And then for the most innovative programs that you have presented. No. Two things I would want to convey. Number one is, suppose I am a parent, and I believe that there are parents who are actually nakikinig o nanonood ngayon. And it could be probably possible na may gustong iparehab na anak or probably isang dependent na gusto na din magparehab because of necessity. Pwedeng sa family, self-growth, self-improvement. So yun, something like that. If you are going to appeal to these people, how are you going to appeal to them and offering the kind of administration of these patients in your facility? How are you going to tell them by heart that here you are offering the services of the government and for them to assure of a brighter future ahead of them? That's the first thing. Anybody can answer. Thank you.
Na-pressure ako doon. Parang hirap ng tanong ni Sir, how do we appeal to them?
Just like that, I am the person you are going to convince. I'm a parent. I have children or I have siblings na addict or dependent. Suppose ako naman, ako mismo ang i-convince mo. I am listening to your life here. So how are you going to approach me?
Sige po. Siguro po sa mga nakikinig, lahat po nakaka-experience ng ganito, naiintindihan po namin ang nararamdaman nyo at present. And kami po ay bukas dito para tulungan kayo dyan sa nararamdaman nyo. Hindi nyo po kailangan na mag-isang pansanin yan, yung pinagdadaanan nyo sa inyong anak or sa kapamilya, na sabihin na natin nagpapasaway na po. Andito po ang institution namin that was created by the government to help people suffering like that. At may solusyon po doon. At kami po yun ang magbibigay ng pag-asa po sa inyo na kaya po niya. Yun lamang po siguro at ganun sir na packaging that we understand how you feel and how you are experiencing as of the moment. And there is hope and help in this institution. Yun po sir.
Thank you. From the Chief of Hospital.
Thank you very much dyan. Mapapakinggan mo talaga nasa puso yung pagtulong. It's there, inherent. Doon po sa mga pumalakpak, yan po yung mga staff namin na talagang day and night, walang pag-aalinlangan. Palakpakan natin sila because nandoon po sa puso yung pagtulong. Now, from a medical perspective po, bilang doktor, sabi ko kay doktora, gusto niya sagutin. Siguro po kung ako, pag tayo sa radyo, ito lang po yung sasabihin ko sa kanila. Ang paggamit ng droga, ulitin ko po, ang paggamit ng droga ay can cause addiction. Pag naging addict ka na isang bagay, paulit-ulit mo yung nahahanapin na darating ang point na hindi na kayang i-control ng mga impulses mo, ng emotions mo. Then, at pag nagpatuloy yun, itong addiction na to ay makakasira ng iyong utak. At pag hindi ka pa rin tumigil at patuloy mo yung gagamitin, yung pagkasira ng utak, eventually, it will lead to a mental illness because sabi nga kanina, yung pinakita ni John, there are certain parts of the brain that is being destroyed. And yung mga parts na yon has something to do with the yung kwan ng tao, yung dinadaya yung thinking ng brain natin na to use this is okay. So ang mangyayari is paulit-ulit mo nang gagamitin, eventually it will lead to a mental illness. Yun po. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the responses. And adding to that, maybe for about 30 seconds, sa lahat ng mga nakakapanood nito, ito po ang press conference ng Malinaw Treatment and Rehabilitation Center. Alam ko na may mga tinagdaraanan tayo sa inyo bilang magulang, sa inyong mga anak. Alam ko na ayaw ninyo na mapasama ang inyong mga anak. So, ang pagkakataon ay ngayon na. Libre po ito. Napakaganda ng kanilang facility dito sa MTRC. Very approachable. Nandyan si Doc Fulbert Gallego, si the Chief Health Program Officer, Sir John, and all the rest of the administration. Please coordinate na lang po sa kanila. And to those naman nakikinig ngayon, na you know that you are due to something na gusto mo nang magbago. They are here. Don't be afraid. Yun ang pinaka-importante dito. Huwag kayang matakot. They are here to help you. And for sure, you will meet a brighter future. Thank you very much for the responses po. Last thing na lang, ano pong cases ang meron dito sa inyo na mga drugs po na sila ay dependent? Anong classification? Is it marijuana? Is it shabu or what?
Tulungan siguro ako nung HIMSS, but
Thank
mostly,
you.
sir, there are two main substance na gamit po talaga. Shabu po at saka marijuana. Sa census ata namin ngayon, almost 90% if I am correct, shabu po talaga ang paborito po nila. Yun yung main drugs nila. Or a combination of shabu and marijuana. Yun po yung kadalasan na substance. And of course, alcohol. Mangilan-ngilan meron po kaming alcoholic cases po sa loob. Yes po, sir.
Thank you so much, Sir Marlon. Another question from Radio Pilipinas.
So, good afternoon po to MTRC and to my fellow media practitioners. I am Emmanuel Bongkodin ng Radyo Pilipinas Albay po. So sa pagdiriwang po ng ika-25th anniversary ng Malinaw Treatment and Rehabilitation Center, mahalaga pong balikan natin ang mga naging hakbangin at pagsusumikap ng institusyon upang mapaunlad ang mga serbisyo. So ano po ba yung mga pagbabago o reforma na ipinatupad sa MTRC sa nakalipas po na isang taon? And comparing it to the previous years, ano po ba yung maituturing yung pinakamalaking pagbabago na masasabi nyong MTRC is MTRC with this project po?
Okay, Monet, would you like to answer? Okay, thank you, Eman, for that question. Alam niyo po, isa sa mga importante at mahalagang celebration na gagawin namin is to honor those people who helped us make it through these years. Kung wala po sila, wala po yung MTRC. Sila po yung mga naging instrument po doon sa paglago ng MTRC. Well, sa akin po, bilang bago nilang chief sa hospital, sabi ko nga po kanina sa presentation, yung mga nakita ko na wala pa ang center, yun po ang paiigtingin namin at idadagdag namin. Na-mention ko rin po na pagdating sa rehabilitation aspect, A1 po dyan ang MTRC. Hindi po sa nandito ako. Nakikita ko po yung effort ng mga empleyado, yung mga programs po na inilalagay nila. Sabi nga ni John, there are international standards that our staff were able to have and ina-apply po yon sa programa. Now, doon po sa mga ilalagay po natin, maintain the certification of, in terms of para saan yung certification na yon. Doon po sa quality assurance na ang mga programa po ay mapagkakatiwalaan at masasabi natin may standard po na sinusunod. Hindi lang po basta, ilagay natin to. And then second po is yung sustainability of the programs. Hindi lang po kami dapat umasa sa DOH ng mga yung funding, but also to be creative and look for other ways. Ang PhilHealth po, nandoon yan sa Universal Healthcare Act bilang financial institution that will help the Department of Health in terms of providing funds for the rehabilitation or ang paggamot. Kaya po ang mga programa po ng PhilHealth na napakaganda na may packages, yun po ang gagawin namin ngayon at sinimulan na po namin para po pagdating ng araw yung aming pong budget ay masusugpunan, madadagdagan at madudugtungan. And then po, to be innovative. And what is that? Continuously, we propose for projects that are worthy. Pinag-uusapan po ng aming MANCOM para po ma-discuss ano po yung mga programa na yon. Katulad po ng na-mention natin, yung mga self-sustainability in terms of sa kuryente na gagastusin, to have this renewable energy, water sources, and then food for the table. These are worthwhile project that should be incorporated in our existing para po at least naman pagdating ng araw, mabawasan po yung gastusin ng gobyerno. And then, pinaka-importante po is to look for other financial institution that can help defray the cost of the rehabilitation and then to improve the facilities. And then we need champions. Sino po yung champions? Kayo po, ang media. Isa po kayo sa mga champions na tutulong sa amin to continue our campaign. Pagdating sa advocacy, kayo po ang pinakamagandang partner namin dyan. At the same time, yung academe naman sa mga schools para po yung preventive aspect. And then po yung atin po mga local chief executive when it comes to support. Malaking bagay po ang ating mga provincial governors, ang ating po mga congressmen, and syempre po ang ating mga municipal mayors, city mayors, and yung barangay captains down to the level. At pagdating naman po sa sustainability of the programs and support, andyan din po yung ating, wag nating kakalimutan ng mga men in uniform na tumutulong po sa amin, patuloy na tumutulong at nagsusumika para po maidala po dito sa amin ang mga pasyente na may paggamit po ng droga. And syempre po, patuloy po kaming gagawa ng aming tungkulin upang po itong mga programa ay maihatid at maidala sa community. Yun lang po, Eman.
Last question na po, Doc. So,
Sorry, dagdagan ko lang yung sinabi, okay lang. Sabi mo yung kung ano yung pagbabago, no? I'd like also to credit also some of the innovation changes of the people, of the men and women of MTRC. I think from the chief down to our staff, we continue to innovate. Yeah, parang patuloy pa rin. Sabi nga namin, ang programa nandyan, di ba? Nandyan yung mga templates, nandyan yung mga ano. Pero ang sa tulong ng syempre ng management committee at syempre sa leadership ni Doc Fulbert, we continue to capacitate our people. So, ang karamihan ay sinisend namin sa training kasi sino ba ang nagbibigay ng 'di ba serbisyo kundi yung aming mga tao. Kaya bigyan ko sila ng nararapat na din. Siyempre, top on the back for being such a committed and competent personnel. Siyempre, galing kay Doc, sabi ni Doc, learning is a continuous process hanggang sa pababa, patuloy na nag-aaral ang aming mga tao para makabigay ng really nararapat na serbisyo. Thank you po.
okay, so last question na po. So, in terms naman po sa digitalization, so nakasaad po kasi sa Philippine Development Plan of 2023 to 2028 na layunin ng gobyerno na palakasin ang digital transformation ng mga pampublikong institusyon bilang bahagi ng pag-unlad at modernisasyon. So ano po ba ang mga hakbangin na ginagawa po ng MTRC patungkol po sa digital transformation ng inyo pong ahensya?
Digital Mamunet, no? So I think sa payment.
Oo. Speaking of yung gano'n ng mga mga changes and innovations, no, sir? Umpisa pa lang ng leadership ni Doc na nasabi niya yan, part yan ng kanyang 10-point agenda. On the part of the office, kaya po kami merong HR Prime, awardee din kami na HR Prime, and at the same time, we are now on our second cycle of the ISO certification. Ang layunin ng ISO, ang pinaka-core talaga, is really continual improvement. And how do we do that? By digitalization and digitization. So, kami ngayon, maraming mga programa ang parang nag-a-adapt sa present times kasi yun naman talaga medyo behind na ang government in terms of digitalization, no, pero kami naglalaan kami ng pondo, and at the same time ang aming staff also nag-aaral para to ensure na yung aming work efficiency ay maging at par man lamang, kahit hindi namin malampasan yung nasa private, at least hindi kami maging behind. So there are already several initiatives sa admin process. Meron kami sa accounting, meron na kaming e-NGAS na certified ng COA. Sa billing system, meron na din kaming mga e-payment system. And sa mga individual namin na mga monitoring system, nag-a-adapt na din po kami ng mga digitalization. Sa procurement, we already started our digitalization also. So, going into paperless transaction as well. So, mga ganun na inisyatibo, and supported po yan ng aming bagong chief.
Dagdag ko lang po sa sinabi ni Ma'am Monet. Right now, we are prime silver pa lang tayo, no? Ay, bronze, bronze. And we are aiming, sir, to be prime silver. And the main requirement to be a prime HRM silver is digitization of all our processes. That would include yung hiring, appointment, and all other services. So andun kami on the works of reaching that hopefully the next milestone po namin for the prime HRM na silver. In terms naman po sa program delivery, sir, in terms sa efforts ng digitization, alam naman natin we're at the Facebook era. Halos lahat meron po talagang Facebook. And right now, lahat po ng inquiries po namin, lahat po ng tanong about the center, talagang kino-course through namin sa aming Facebook page. Kasi yun yung mas commonly used kesa po tumawag dito sa amin. So that is also one way of adapting to the changing environment natin sa labas, which is using the social media. And also, advocacy activities po through our Facebook page. And, sinasabihan ako ni Ma'am Tin, arta pala ako, I forgot. Also sa Anti-Red Tape Act, no, the Artemis ngayon, digitized na rin po siya. Required kami na dapat uploaded doon sa ARTA website all our processes. So pwede kami mareklamo pag, nakalagay doon sa ARTA, ganito nyo sa Artemis, tapos hindi nyo fina-follow. So part po yun sa aming digitization effort. May nakalimutan pa ako, sorry. I think yun sir yung mga some of the efforts that Ma'am Monet have mentioned, and also sa program and HR in terms of digitization that we look into. Hopefully treatment in the future.
Dadagdagan ko lang, thank you very much John and Monet. Doon naman po sa institution namin, I am very happy na meron kaming mga sections that are directed towards that ensuring that digitization and digitalization will be enforced. Andyan po yung ating HIMS, andyan po sila sa likod, palakpakan natin din sila. And of course yung ICT unit, yung IDADIN, formerly IDADIN. Nagpa-training na po sila, yung na-mention kanina dyan na Artemis, and then yung other requirements for them to be capacitated para meron silang technical know-how on that, kung paano yun i-apply, so that our processes will be easier and faster. And then, of course po, bilang namamayo, so I always make sure and look into yung mga position po. Like ngayon, we made sure that all items po para sa IT section are all filled up. And another one, that is why we are endeavoring to do our efforts para ma-expand ang facility namin, because that is tantamount when we expand our programs, when we expand our bed capacity, magdadagdag po yun ng staff namin para sa ratio. So kung madadagdagan po yun, the more that madadagdagan pa yung mga technical people namin na magtutulong-tulong po para mas mapaganda pa namin yung services. Ilan po.
Thank you so much po, and clear po yung mga sagot nyo. And this is not a question po, but a recommendation po na if my fellow media practitioners po will experience firsthand po kung ano po yung na-experience ko during my first visit here at MTRC, kung saan hindi po katulad ng ibang mga treatment and rehabilitation centers ang MTRC, kasi po yung mga patients po nila ay freely nakikipaghalubilo, not just with the staffs but also with the visitors as well. So I think it is a suggestion na I hope in the future to be more aware and to to break the stigma regarding po sa mga patients na atin, mas maganda po sana na magkaroon pa po ng mas maraming ganung pong pag-showcase po at pagpapakita po sa publiko ng mga programa po na meron po ang MTRC. That would be all. Thank you so much po.
Sir, parang salamat po doon sa pagpupunan yun kasi gusto talaga namin, tao din po sila. Parang ayaw namin na kinukulong sila, a sense of jail. This is a place of healing. Hindi siya yung place na talagang kukulungin po sila and they have responsibilities na gusto namin ma-practice. Nakagaya rin magkatrabaho sila sa labas, makihalubilo sa iba. Ang ano lang namin, sir, yung confidentiality. Siyempre po, di ba, sa batas, pinagbabawalan kami na i-disclose kung sino mga pasyenteng andito sa loob. We can be held liable for that. So maingat lang din po kami talaga doon, sir, in terms of disclosing kung sinong andito, i-expose din sila. We only expose those na willing din. Parang voluntary din sila na would you want na mapicturan ka ng ganito at lahat. Consent is very important po. Ayan po. Thank you po.
Thank you so much. Radio Pilipinas, we have here another question from One Radio.
Sir, Erickson Brutas po from One Radio. In terms of expansion of future plans and programs po ng MTRC, alam naman natin po today, our digital era, yung another addiction po sanang i-open ko. In terms of mobile game addiction and yung recently issue na online gambling addiction, are there any future plans or programs na naka-line up for the MTRC for this kind of issue?
Thank you very much for that very tawag dito, appropriate question yon sa mga panahon ngayon. Yes, we're very much aware of these forms, other forms of addiction, of which andun yung screen, yung gambling, madami pa po, shopping, etc. And sa center po, we're very much aware of that. However po, katulad po ng recent visit sa amin, yung aming yung mandate sa DDB. And pag tinignan mo is Dangerous Drugs Board. So ang inaano namin ay mga gumagamit ng mga substances. So yung other forms of drug addiction, we have already attended yung mga pa-training and awareness of these sorts of addiction and other forms of addiction. And kami po ngayon, may initiative na rin kami, magagawa po kami ng survey in terms of meron bang need, meron ba, existing ba yon sa community. So that is what we are now doing. And then, pag ano ang outcome nun, anong results nun, isasubmit namin sa national, sa central, and then maybe isa yun sa magiging base nila later on, that these forms of addiction are really existing and it's becoming a problem, not only among adults, but also sa mga bata, yung mga minors. So, it's very timely that sabi ko nga po sa staff namin pag nagmi-meeting kami, we make ourselves importante hindi lang sa nakaraan but of the current trends, and that is other forms of addiction, and definitely when the time comes we are ready. So hindi kami maghihintay na kung kailan sabihin sa amin ng DOH saka lang kami gagalaw, but for now we are already in the initial steps of doing that, attending trainings, conferences, and then doing the statistics. And then pag meron na po kami noon, pagsasama-samahin namin yon, and then we'll come up with a proposal, and maybe, who knows, magkaroon po ng because there is a current demand on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much po.
Thank you so much, One Radio. So in the interest of time po, we will just be requesting one question or one message po per media partner po. Any more questions or even message po for this morning? All right, I guess that's it for our press conference. Q&A, palakpakan po natin lahat ng ating media partners and our division chiefs and of course our COH3. Now we come to another highlight of this activity. Masasabi natin, isa tong initiative ng MTRC. This afternoon, we will also be having the MOA signing with the Radio Pilipinas. So to facilitate the Radio Pilipinas MOA signing with DOH MTRC, I'd like to call in, of course, Ma'am Nancy in front po in this ceremonial activity. All right, so the ceremonial MOA signing po is now happening here live at the DOH MTRC. MOA signing with the Radyo Pilipinas. There you have it. The ceremonial MOA signing with Radyo Pilipinas is our official media partner. In front po, we have Ma'am Nancy together with our division chiefs and our Thank you so much and congratulations to every one of us. At this moment, may I call on once again our COH3, our division chiefs, to award the certificates and tokens to our guests, the media personnel, and other stakeholders. let me read the citation. Certificate of Appreciation is proudly awarded to in grateful recognition for your invaluable presence and media support during the press conference for the 25th anniversary of Malinaw Rehabilitation Center with the theme MTRC at 25. Your participation has played a vital role in sharing our story of service, hope, healing, and transformation with a wider community. Signed by our Chief of Hospital 3, Dr. Fulbert Alec Argaliego. This certificate of appreciation is hereby awarded to Radio Pilipinas Albay. The same certificate of appreciation is hereby awarded to DCGBAM. A round of applause, please, for DCGBAM. We have here Sir Jomar and Ma'am Angel from DCGB. The same certificate of appreciation is given to DOH Bicol CHD. Maraming salamat po to our partners from the DOH Bicol CHD. Naka-live po tayo sa kanilang page for this morning. Ayan. Thank you so much, sir, and everyone from the Bicol CHD. DOH. Next certificate of appreciation is proudly awarded to the Philippine Information Agency. Sir Marlon, thank you po for your presence this morning. Of course, the same certificate of appreciation is given to Radio Veritas Legazpi. Radio Veritas is represented by, of course, Ma'am Susan and Sir Jam. Maraming salamat po. Next, we have One Radio, Tabaco City. Thank you po, One Radio. Thank you so much. Alright, by the way, all the tokens that was given to our guest ay inside po niya na ang aming maiden issue ng aming editorial board which is named The Dalan. Okay, you will get copies of the maiden issue of Dalan. Next is Brigada FM Legazpi City. Wala. Okay. And all right. Of course, our guest from the Rescue 222. Ayan, maraming salamat po for your assistance. Of course, your presence this morning. The Rescue 222. Thank you po for your support, Rescue 222. And fun fact, isa po sa aming staff, si Kuya Shi, ay part ng Rescue 222. Rescue 222 pala is headed by Sir Mulato. Okay. Hindi naka-join today si Sir, but the members of the Rescue 222 are here. Next certificate of appreciation is also awarded to the PNP Malinao. PNP Malinao is of course headed by the Deputy Chief of Police, Captain Denver Romero. Maraming salamat po, sir, and to your staff. Thank you po. Once again, maraming salamat po to our media guests and our partners who have attended this press conference. To formally close our program, may I call on the overall head of this year's anniversary celebration, none other than our Supervising Administrative Officer, Ma'am Monette, for her closing remark.
Thank you, Clarice. Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry for the very long press conference. Masyadong maganda ang ating usapan kanina. So on behalf of the Malinao Treatment and Rehabilitation Center, I'd like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to all the members of the press, our partners in government. So nandito ang PNP, syempre ang PIA, andito din ang CHD, thank you so much for the support, and syempre yung Radyo Pilipinas, and also our partners in civil society. Nandito kanina ang Narcotics Anonymous, maraming salamat, and syempre everyone who joined us today, the very first activity of our week-long celebration. So our mission to bring hope, healing, and transformation to everyone, to individuals and families affected by substance abuse, has not been easy, but it has been meaningful for the past 25 years. Every life restored, every family reunited, and every person who found a second chance is a testament to the power and compassion, to the commitment of the men and women of MTRC. So, your presence here today, our friends in the press, and for continuing to support and sharing our stories and advocating our advocacies, play a crucial role in breaking the stigma, sabi kanina ni ma'am, and building a more understanding, inclusive, and healing society. Kaya kami ay natutuwa kanina sa sinabi ni Ma'am Nancy, an assurance that you, our friends from the press, are our partners in this advocacy. So, as we look ahead in the next chapter of MTRC, may we continue to work together, diba? Kasi with empathy, courage, and unwavering belief in the possibility of change, mangyayari ang gusto natin mangyari. So, syempre, I will not let this day pass without acknowledging the Day 1 committee in charge of Wheels of Hope and Healing, Voices of Healing, headed by our advocacy section, si Kuya Nyolan, and syempre ang kanyang mga kasama sa committee. Maraming salamat sa inyo sa pagbigay sa atin ng magandang panimulang aktibidad. Sa muli, taus-puso kaming nagpapasalamat sa pagpapaunlak sa aming imbitasyon. Ang inyong presensya at pakikiisa sa aming selebrasyon ay patunay na ikaw, ako at tayong lahat ay naniniwala sa masang malinaw na bukas. Maraming salamat and good afternoon po.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Monette, for that very warm closing message. Ayan, so stay tuned po kasi marami pa po tayong activities for the rest of the week in celebration of our 25th year anniversary. To everyone, maraming salamat po, and this officially ends our press conference. Thank you po, at mabuhay tayong lahat. Let's all have a photo opportunity.